you guys got an advanced look at the hat. That's cheating. Mic check. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Friendliest Friday in all the land. We used to do Friendly Fridays. We may bring that back. When I get back to doing 5 shows a week consistently, we might go back to Friendly Fridays. We'll see how that goes. But wherever you are, and however you may be listening, thank you so very much for making us part of your day. It's another beautiful, beautiful day in Mesa, Arizona. I don't know what the high is going to be, but when I took my daughter to school today, I was not sweaty, which is pretty cool. So sorry for a little bit of a late start. My dog has diarrhea, and Jen... I don't know, Jen. You want to talk about what we were just talking about?
No, I
No.
don't. I can leave that alone. Just leave that one for now.
All right. Okay. Just want you guys to know, Jen is insane. Jen's an insane person.
I'm resourceful in some ways, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
sure. Yeah, resourceful is fine. There's nothing about that is resourceful. Did I take pics of the diarrhea? I didn't. Sorry. Forgot to take pictures. Who's
Gross.
asking for that?
Why?
Cat
What?
Mesa has never had a beautiful day. How dare you? Base of what are you talking about? Mesa's never had a beautiful day. That is not nice. Let me show you some I'm gonna show you there's some beautiful spots by me. I've taken some pictures before. Where's this? This is right out. This is right out my front door. Sort of. Look, you can't tell me this isn't beautiful. Let me switch this screen over here. How dare you guys say that? Don't even tell me it's not beautiful. Look at that. How's the ingrown hair? I didn't notice it today. I think I'm all right. I think we're good.
We've discussed this before.
What
All
about
those
it?
cactuses look phallic.
They are. Do you remember what they're called?
Cactuses?
Well, what kind of cactus? It's a specific
No, I have
cactus
no
that's
idea.
only
I have
here,
no
and
idea.
they're protected. Anybody in the chat know the name of the cactus? Cacti? Perfect spot for a data center. Well done, Queen Anne's Lace. Saguaro. I was talking to somebody the other day about where I went to high school. Which, do you know what high school I went to, Jen? You know that?
I don't think so.
And I was...
I
Oh, go
don't
ahead.
think so.
And I was just saying,
Go
like, you kind of forget, like, how Utah sucks. But, like, my campus, where I went to school, is beautiful. And I had you just kind of forget about that. Let me see if I can find a good picture of it. Do any of you ever do that? Like, you just forget how beautiful the place you live is? I know, obviously, that's not going to be the case for, like, anybody who lives in Iowa. It's not like you guys have beauty there. Utah's like a really beautiful place for a place that sucks to live. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think there we go. I think that's one. Oh, that's their actual. There's the actual website there. Like, those mountains are. Tell me that's not beautiful. Those are tennis courts there. Those beautiful mountains right there. This up here we used to call. There's a G on our mountain for Pleasant Grove. In my senior year of high school, this didn't exist. Like, the football stadium, we didn't have like turf. And the soccer field was down lower, like down in here. And we didn't have very much money at our school, so we had kind of a shitty. I mean, I guess it's public education, so nobody had money, so we had like a shitty field. But our soccer coach like wanted to name it something because there's all these good teams. Their field was named something. Like, there was one that was called the Rock. I can't remember. I think that was Provo or something. And so he's like, we need to come up with a name, and then we were going to print shirts for it. And it was such a religious place, and everybody is so like sexually repressed that we were able to get our field named the G Spot, and we had shirts, and it said like "Welcome to the G Spot" on our shirts, like our warm up shirts. That's pretty cool.
Oh, oh, so we were like, so you were further south for the school you went to.
Yeah, I was south of Salt Lake. That's all you're
Yeah.
gonna get out of
Okay.
that. It did suck though, but very few men were able to attend our games. They just could not find it. Pretty good.
I know a lot of people think Utah is pretty. I don't know. It's just whatever. It's
Well, you were probably spending all your time in parked cars. You probably didn't even see the natural beauty of Utah while you were living there.
no,
No, you don't spend not a lot of, not like a parked car person.
not in Utah.
Not in Utah. What about in Iowa?
No, definitely not in Iowa.
All right. Where is the Council Bluffs? Is that where it is? It's like right on the river. Is that Council Bluffs, Iowa? I like that part. That place looks good. Des Moines kind of okay. Actually, there's a little bit of beauty in the Quad Cities. My glasses are all smudged. Who thinks they live in the most beautiful place? I know it's not you. I know where you live. I don't think
See?
anybody ever lists that as like it's not terrible, but I
No,
don't think anybody ever lists it as
no,
like
it's not. No, it's not. I
yeah.
wouldn't categorize it as as beautiful. No,
Car
it's
stuff
fine.
was so
It's
high school. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but when you have a spawn that's anti letting you live your life, I'm glad you find this entertaining.
It's so funny. I can't believe it. It's so funny. I think you should just tell him. You want me to tell
Uh,
him?
I don't know if what you're gonna say, so probably not.
All right. I'm not going to
But
get into a ton of details. I mean, I don't know a ton of details.
I mean, you can give them the cliff notes, I guess. So
Jen was getting it in a BJ's parking lot. She can't bring her boyfriend home.
no, I can bring him home. I just
Well, yeah,
do
but
it when he's home or when she.
that's why I was a couple minutes late. Jen just telling me. I was like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "Where'd you go to like a park?" She's like, "Nah, we just like stayed in the parking lot." It's like, "What?" She's like, "It
It
is
was
a big
later.
parking lot."
It was a large parking lot. It was further away. Um,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, just having the AC on because it's hotter than Satan's asshole
Yeah.
out and killed the battery. So I had to go get I had to go get jumper cables to jump my car.
Yeah, I
So
like that. Yeah, you should sneak him through a window. That's a good point. La Raleigh, you go like full high school. If you're doing it in cars, you might as well start sneaking them in at night.
I legit have my own house. Like I have a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house.
Yeah, sneak him in.
So I mean, I just she's just I just yeah, it's just gonna have to shift because it's not working. So
Well,
but yeah, there's that.
Godspeed. Good for you, Duke. Papa's wow, Duke. Way to last long enough for the car battery to die. How long was the battery running? We don't. We let's not presume that was the
We're
entire
not
time.
gonna
But
go
how
into we're
long
not
do?
gonna go
No, I just
we're
wanted
not gonna
because
go
you
into all
talked. I'm assuming, and there's like some. How long do you think the battery was powering the car without it being on?
I don't know. I don't.
What's that?
So we're not gonna go into that many details. No, 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 Michael. It's just my birthday was at the beginning of the month. So
Is a late birthday present.
he's here.
Oh, what's up, dude? Uh, hey,
We
Duke.
did what we had to.
Good for you. Good for you.
So
We're proud of you. What
yeah,
did
so
Duke eat
there's
at BJ's?
he got shrimp and prime rib.
Shrimp and that's an interesting combination. I don't think I've ever had
Yeah.
shrimp with prime rib. Did you? Is that a custom order or is that like a?
No, it was telling all your stories. I didn't tell all of the stories.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't talk about any of the like things that she put in you. She's leaving that off stream.
Don't do
She
that.
she made me promise not to say anything on stream about it.
Oh, it wasn't prime rib? Okay, I thought it was prime rib, but it was just a steak. So,
That makes more sense. Okay.
uh,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
So,
great. You got any other updates? I don't have any.
no, pretty, like I said, pretty boring. Supposed to see him on Sunday. Come over and
For church?
Spawn's just gonna have to no church, right? Over this. Um,
Well,
but yeah, so there's that. I mean,
well, proud of both of you. I think you guys are you're doing great things. You're gonna accomplish a lot together, and we're just so proud of you.
I- just yeah, just kidding. Just figuring shit out, making it work.
Yeah, bro had cake after.
uh,
Good
uh,
question. Yeah, chat. Duke, I'm not going to read all these but I do think there's some questions in the chat for you that people would like answered. If you could go ahead and
in the
tag
YouTube
Duke.
chat or in the
Oh yeah,
YouTube
he can't
chat?
see it. Oh, okay. So I'll have to read the YouTube ones.
Well,
Last Cranberry wants to know
yeah.
if you used protection, Duke. I don't think you are, because you can't get pregnant, like right with
You were
the
so dumb. You were so dumb.
like after you can't.
Not in menopause, asshole.
I don't feel good about that. I'm sorry. That was not nice.
You know, probably the first time we meet in person. I'm probably gonna punch you in your nose. Just, I feel like you just deserve it. So,
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's probably Duke
so
goes no comment. Good for you. What? Oh, good question. What mayo do you like, Duke? There's only one answer to what mayo do you like. I think.
that is the most Caucasian question I've ever heard.
Listen, Jen, I've seen your complexion.
No, I'm pasty as shit.
Yeah.
And and funny, unrelated but kind of related. I use self tanner. Um,
You did look a
and
little more tan. Yeah.
yeah, well, I have to find a new one because I'm starting to have reactions like itching, and it's my skin's reacting to the self tanner, so I have to take Benadryl because it gets very itchy. So I have to find to get have to get different different self tanner.
Or
So
Duke gave you bed bugs. Could be.
no, that's not it. It's the self tanner.
All
So,
right. Never.
but
I remember one time using it when I remember I found some in the in the cab or what, I don't know, what did you call it? There was just this like closet in our hallway that had, and I thought it was sunscreen when I was a kid, and I put it all over, and my hands were like bright orange for weeks. It was awful.
is it sunscreen or self
I thought it
tanner?
was sunscreen, but it was a self tanner. And this was back in
Oh,
the, so I didn't use gloves or anything, and it was tough. I was tough. I looked like Trump for a while.
that's that's fantastic. So he says the real. He doesn't know real mayonnaise.
The answer is Duke's. The answer is obviously Duke's. It's the best
There's a
mayo.
Duke's man. But isn't that like best foods on the West Coast or whatever, and Duke's is like East Coast or something like that?
I don't know.
I think that's a thing, but
I'm not
not
a
all
big. I'm
that
not big
important.
on mayo. Not huge on it.
Not huge on condiments.
Yeah, I don't like ketchup either. Ketchup.
Ketchup.
Sorry. Shut up. As soon as I said it, I heard it. That's crazy. I do say ketchup. That sucks. That sucks. I didn't even know that. Ketchup. Ketchup. Yeah. I don't like ketchup. I'm not big on mayo. Not real big on ranch unless it's like with buffalo.
Certain places have good ranch, like what's it called? Hidden Valley Ranch isn't good, but like the ranch that's at like
That's a pretty good joke
wing
by
places
May.
and stuff.
But how does May get a good joke? RTB gagging on mayo all the time. That's not bad. That's a pretty good joke. I'll let you have
So
that one. You did it, May. You made me smile today.
she
Thank you.
May actually she ma- I don't know if May was being serious or not, but she said Miracle Whip earlier. I like
Ooh.
that one with certain things.
Well, maybe May is a troll.
Maybe it's
Maybe.
possible,
All right.
but so
Well, do your
well,
thing.
so well, Sully sent a Venmo
Shit, I gotta
for a
get those up.
hotel for next time. So.
Thanks, Sully. Yeah,
Appreciate
why's
it, Paul.
Duke not springing for the hotel?
he paid for dinner, so there's that.
All right.
All right, well,
Fair
let's
enough.
get going. Welcome everybody. We're just get going on the show. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30ish to 1. We've got
Somebody
a gift
just
goal that
said,
we.
sorry, Papa's just said May is Natalie Harp. I swear to God. That's that could be.
Yeah, it's possible. Um,
Sorry, I'll shut up.
so sorry, yeah, we just got me distracted for a second. So yeah, gift goal that we need to hit each day. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out that gift goal. Um, So we prefer the pay links over super chats, but anything's accepted. All is appreciated. The pay links take less from us, so that's the reason why. If you haven't become a paid member or subscriber wherever you're watching, you should become one so you can join us for members only events. We watched Life Larry in the Pursuit of Unhappiness um, on Wednesday. So we'll have another one, not this upcoming Wednesday, but the one after. If you guys disagree with our TP and would like to come up and have a conversation, you can do that by sending me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Sub with 2 B's, the number 1. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Where, There was one that I wanted to use and I forgot.
I'm ready when you are.
I know I'm looking for the joke that I wanted to say, and I'm getting distracted.
Knock
Right,
it off,
so
Duke.
this is what?
I just assumed it was Duke.
Anyways, so this came. Kindarian gave me this joke. The people of Dubai don't like the Flintstones,
Oh, that sucks. Why not?
but the people of Abu Dhabi do.
I like that a lot, actually. I like that. I didn't know that either. Hellman's East Coast, best foods on the West Coast. I was unaware of that. I'm a potato with legs, says Hellman. Oh, that was you. Okay, got that. Somebody else said it too. You see who the Tater brothers got for legal counsel? Is it still that dude that wears sunglasses all the time? I think we played a clip of him. He's weird. Or did they get somebody new? I hope that for their sake, I don't hope, but for their sake, I would probably get a different lawyer than the lawyer that they have because he is awful. I don't remember who sent this to me, but Marge has beef.
You guys are not going to believe this. This literally made me laugh today. So let me tell you what I just found out. I found out that my name is on the website for the big GOP convention being planned in Dallas, Texas, coming up for the midterms here. And so, yeah, my name's on the speakers list. And I found that absolutely hysterically funny. And I was like, well, what kind of speech?
So I clicked on the video thing and it didn't pop up. And then I had to click it again. Sorry, my bad.
I even give. I mean, imagine being a Republican campaigning right now. What do you campaign on? Do you campaign on no more foreign wars while the president drug us into a war with Iran on behalf of Israel?
Nice. I like it. Good for you, Marge. I like it. Let's see what else Marge has to say. That's good. Her beef, where's the beef? It's right here.
Is that what you campaign on? Do you campaign on affordability, lowering the cost of housing and groceries?
Yeah,
and
stuff that Americans care about. No foreign wars, affordability. Love it. Good for you, Marge.
Gasoline. That's pretty hard to do, especially under full Republican control. Affordability has not gotten better. Cost of housing hasn't gotten better.
True.
And gas and diesel is not better at all because of the president's broken campaign promises and betrayal of him running off and going to war with Iran and bombing a
What All Things says, it's amazing how when you remove campaign donors, party lines, and lies, you start looking sensible. Well, hold on. Hold tight. It doesn't end as good as it starts.
children school, blowing up a bunch of kids and then totally denying it or claiming it's under investigation. What else do you campaign on? Oh,
I don't know. Healthcare. Something about healthcare would be good, I think. I think appropriate taxation. I think maybe the subsidies that we give to the ultra wealthy. Yeah, we could campaign on that. Or
stopping the trans agenda on children.
Oh.
Well, it's kind of tough when Senate Republicans refuse to pick up the bill, my bill, as a matter of fact, that would make it a felony to perform transgender surgeries and treatments on anyone under the age of 18. My bill passed the
Which
House.
like almost never happens, but there it is. Yeah. I don't get it. I will never understand your obsession with this, Republicans. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you're so worried about like a handful of kids, but we were so close. She was so close to being sensible. Then it just gets worse. She's looking rough. Yeah, she's one of the few people who gets worse with like Botox. Like her head shape isn't really made for Botox. I think loose skin hides the jagged features.
But Senate Republicans haven't touched it. And oddly enough, Vice President J.D. Vance, that was actually, he was the leading Senate sponsor when he was a senator. So odd they haven't touched that one. Maybe they really don't mean it. What do you campaign on? The MAGA agenda? Oh, wait. They gave full protection to glyphosate. Kind of hard to campaign on MAGA on that one.
True.
And COVID vaccines are still running rampant because it still has FDA approval. And then they approved.
Yeah, it does because it's effective and useful. I wonder how many MAGA thought we were going to ban, like the guy who pushed the COVID vaccine through quickly was going to ban it. I wonder how many of them actually thought that was going to happen.
Another mRNA vaccine for the flu. Jeez, I mean, where do you go from there? Oh, we could talk about like putting America first in our food supply, except the president just threw American cattlemen under the bus and is now going to import a bunch of foreign mystery meat, I guess from Argentina, oddly enough, where they just sent the meat back because it had problems. Even China rejected Argentina's meat.
Have we checked to see if this wasn't a trade? Is it possible that we traded meat for Peter Thiel? Has anybody checked that? If so, not a bad trade. Even if the meat is spoiled, even if it is horse meat, that's a good trade for us. We got rid of something we didn't want anymore, and we would take anything.
So it's pretty tough to find things to campaign on. I can't imagine what kind of speech I would give, which is why I won't be giving a speech at the GOP midterm convention in Dallas. So they need to take my name off of the list. I'm not a Democrat. I don't support Democrats either, but I certainly...
Yeah, we know. All right, that's the end of that. Let her speak. Show up. Just let it happen. Who has had the flu in the last 3 years? Anyone? Yeah, lots of people. May, oh man, you started good. You started off good. You landed a joke, but now you're back. All right. Finally, a Trump executive order that I can get behind here. Wait, is this? God damn it. Do the wrong one? Shit. Did I save it? Oh, if I lost this one, I'm going to be devastated. I finally found a Trump executive order that was good. I was going to celebrate it. See if I can find it. I got it. This is the one. Yeah, finally. Nobody fact checked this, by the way. We're not doing that today. We're on MAGA rules, but I'm certain that this really did happen.
And finally, sir, in this executive order, we're also changing the name of the Canada geese as per your request. They will now be known throughout the world as Donald Ducks, which is a more suiting name, given that they now live in Lake America and not Canada with the rest of those losers. Donald Ducks are now an American species, and they're already happily migrating to our shores as we speak.
Yeah.
And
yeah. They've been poisoning the blood of this country, those fucking geese. But now they are the Donald Ducks. That's all real. Nobody fact checked that. That all happened. I'm only showing you this because it's going the rounds. This is the Republican candidate for Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. Yeah. Tom Tiffany. He's not a fan of Trump changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, mostly because it's stupid, right? Like, nobody gives a shit about any of this. It's just petty and dumb. He's not a big fan of it. So I saw this video, and it would not have made the outline except for this kid in the back. I would say kid. He's a monster. That's a big old kid. I've never seen anybody so happy in my life to hear a joke candidate for governor. So you can listen to this and you can be like, yeah, fuck Trump, or you can listen to it and just watch this kid's face, which is what I'm going to do.
I believe the Great Lakes are the Great Lakes and should stay Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Ontario. I mean, unless you're suggesting we name Lake Michigan, Lake Wisconsin.
He's so happy. He is so happy. I like the sign too. You betcha. Yeah. Give us old what's Tom Tiffany? He's a good one, eh?
I want to be clear. I said that all in jest.
Doyle rules. I want to see you smile one more time. You could put another person's whole head in that smile. You just stick your whole head in there, you'd be safe. There's room.
I want to be clear. I said that all in jest. I think we should leave the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are Great Lakes, and we should leave them that way. Yes. And you can count on me to make sure that I will protect the Great Lakes. Where the district I represent currently includes the south shore of Lake Superior, and it is one of the greatest assets that we have here in the state of Wisconsin and the upper Midwest, and we should make sure and protect that and make it and continue to have it be one of the most valuable assets that we have here in
I fully expect Tom Tiffany to get smashed on Truth Social at some point when Trump sees this. Trump's gonna be so mad about it.
Wisconsin.
What's the nickname for Tom Tiffany? It's gonna be Tom, the daughter whose name I don't know. That was gonna be. Who do you think he hates more, Tom Tiffany or Tiffany Trump?
I mean, I just think I think about fishing. Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, two of the greatest assets that we have as far as our natural resources in Wisconsin. And I'm going to...
Tiffany's good, yeah. You guys need to stop saying Hodor in the chat. You need to stop that right now. That is not okay.
Make sure that they continue to be among our greatest assets in Wisconsin.
Who said this guy what is that? Travacal. That this guy's not in jail and running for office. What did he do? He seems kind of like a sweet guy for a Republican. I guess it's hard to be a Republican. Did he do something? He's one of the fake ballot people. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. He's the one he introduced no, he was one of the whatever. Was he fake set of electors? Is that him? Yes? Okay. I thought that was somebody else. I forgot that was him. Oh, well, fuck you, dude. But at least he's got some, at least he doesn't want to change the name of the lake. It's so stupid. Trump's 100% lost his touch. Like, he's not funny anymore, which is fine. Like, it's funny-ish. This was, I don't know who Doll is. I don't remember their name. But Trump has lost his touch. Like, his nicknames suck now. Whatever you thought of his nicknames early on, like, Little Marco was all right. Lion Ted was pretty good. And then he just like ran out of nicknames, so he just started reusing them. They've really struggled. Ron DeSanctimonious was a low point. That one was pretty fucking stupid. What does he call Gavin Newsom? My wife's boyfriend. What is she? What's his New Scum? That's right. They're not as good as they used to be anymore.
Had a similar situation, and Democrats won big in that midterm race. James Talafrico is what he's saying. Talafrico is appealing to a lot.
Talafrico is a crazy. There is nobody on earth that I've ever been more sure only has sex in missionary position with the lights off than James Talarico. And he gets the name James Talafrico. People trying to make James Talarico out to be like a crazy person or like a radical. There's no way that's landing. There's no way anybody actually thinks that. he must have been shocked when that was his nickname, when he got that one.
A lot of Democrats, though, right? I mean, this isn't just an anti-Trump thing.
Trump has lost his nickname touch 100%. His cognitive decline is showing that every second he spends in Texas is a win for Democrats. I mean, James Talarico has the fundraising haul he has gotten. He's outraised not only Democrat nominees, Republican nominees for the past decade. Nobody has raised as much money from him. A majority.
Nah, Talarico fucks guaranteed. Liz, I don't know. I don't know about that. What do you raise your thumbs up if Talarico, if you think there's some freak, thumbs down if you agree with me.
Pretty small donors. That shows the excitement that many people who want to actually give money maybe will then also vote for him. So when Trump has to go to a red state like Texas, that's a win for Democrats.
Well, it's also interesting that he's campaigning privately tonight and fundraising for him, but not doing a big rally. That's an interesting choice, right?
Very interesting. And perhaps he doesn't want to be tied to a loser. As we know, Trump doesn't like to associate with somebody who's going to lose. And Ken Paxton doesn't even seem
He
to
may want to just abandon the GOP in general then.
be trying himself to win. I mean, he's off in London on the 4th of July. His fundraising is down. You know, Trump may also kind of realize that Paxton may not be able to pull that off.
Well, but how many Democrats?
All right. I just, petty. We're starting a little petty. Cam said, Jay's such a cornball. Fuck you, dude. He watches Russell Wilson's Broncos country Let's Ride video to get pumped up. Feel free to hop on the corn train, everyone. Hey, I don't like that at all. Amber said, MAGA's obsessed with other people's genitals. That's 100% factual. 100%. All right. Trump went and spoke to the people at NASA. And I just want you guys to tell me what the fuck he's talking about. Is May still here? May, can you get on topic for just 1 second? I would just want you to explain this. This is 49 seconds uninterrupted. When this is done, I want you to tell me what he's talking about.
And we had a little interlude of 4 years, but somehow it was limping along. It was okay. It was limping along. And now I'm back. And we're doing more than limping. We don't limp. 8 years later, these dreams are really coming through at a level that nobody ever imagined. Nobody imagined what is happening now. And even more importantly, what space has done for our military in terms of offensive and defensive capability is incredible. Don't forget, I was the one that gave you Space Force. And we had no Space Force. And when people heard about it, they thought we were kidding. They thought it was like comic book stuff. It wasn't at all. It's turning out to be one of our most important branches. It'll be and only getting more important with time.
This is NASA. I don't know if he knows the difference. Somebody want to tell me what that was? I watched it like 5 times. I'm like, what is this? Anybody? May? Are you here still? Can you explain it to me? I need an interpreter. I love it. Trump is a true patriot. Nice, dude. Nice. But you're bricked up right now. My favorite thing is when he does that thing where he never makes any sense and we just say, I did that to own the libs. You're just dumb to own the libs. Remember the other day when he was on with Glenn Beck? And Glenn Beck started talking to him about like the 4 food process, like meat processors. And I said, I guarantee within a week, Donald Trump writes an executive order about meat processors or says that he's going to fix it. Well, it didn't even take a week. Here's Donald Trump. Ranchers and farmers have always been a number 1 priority for me. They work very hard, are smart, efficient, and immaculately clean. What does that mean? Farmers are like the one thing I know about farmers, growing up on a small farm, but having farmers in the family, clean is never the way I would explain a farmer. Dirty, almost always. If you are a clean farmer, you're probably not doing any farming. We used to go down and like clean pig shit out of these stalls, and I would smell like pig shit for like 3 days. Yeah, respectfully, and it's not even it's no disrespect. If you have a farmer that gets home every day from work and they are clean, you're just gonna be like, what are you actually doing? There's no way you're a farmer. I didn't get that part, but for years I have heard that they have had a tremendous problem with the big processors. No, You heard about it for the first time 3 days ago. We heard you say, I'm just hearing about this. We just saw it. He was on Glenn Beck. He didn't know anything about it. He was just like, oh. There are essentially 4 of them. A very non-competitive number. I wonder how that happened. And they make life miserable for our wonderful farmers and ranchers. And I can't let that happen, can I? Well, you did. It did happen. So in order to break this powerful monopoly, which with much of its ownership based outside of the U.S., I don't know if that's true or not, I'm authorizing legal documents to be drawn in order to allow farmers and ranchers to be given the right to process their own food. I don't know what these legal documents are going to be. You can't authorize the legal documents to like deregulate. You're going to need Congress. I guess you could write an executive order, which is not really a legal document. This should move quickly. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. He's going to do nothing. He's not going to do anything here. Just a tweet. But I liked the part where he's like, actually, I know that Glenn Beck just told me about this, but I'm going to hop on True Social and tell people that I knew it all along. I always fucking knew about the meat processors. Always fucking knew. Robert says, again, no negative 49ers news today. That's great, but thank you for all you do. I appreciate that. And I appreciate no negative Niners news. And just for the chat, just a reminder, fuck Cam and fuck the Rams. Amy said, saw Mr. Global video today where people are blaming Obama for the gas and oil regulations, but it was actually Bush and Trump. They're blaming Obama? You can say, we're going to talk about oil in a minute. If you want to send that to Jen, I'll play it. Okay. Remember yesterday, Mike Johnson told us that the Republicans were going to do a midterm convention and they were headed to Texas, y'all. What he said. He said, y'all. I didn't add that. And what he said, we're gonna go down to Texas and we're gonna tell everybody, pretend that the person on your ballot is actually Trump, because that's the only chance anybody's gonna give a shit about any of our candidates. Here he was yesterday. Here's why they need to win. Now, if I was running a Republican campaign and I was trying to create urgency and I was trying to tell the voter base why we needed to win, and again, I don't agree with this, but just as a Republican strategist, I would say, if we don't win, we're gonna raise your taxes. If we don't win, you can say goodbye to school choice. If we don't win, it'll be abortion on demand, whatever it might be. Instead, because it's such a cult, this is the threat.
The reason that we are doing that is because people like you understand the stakes are so high.
Yeah,
right?
very
this
high.
Is for all the marbles. We
all
cannot lose this midterm.
All the marbles. He's going to tell you about what the marbles are.
I want you to imagine a nightmare scenario with these insurgent Marxist Democrats taking over the Congress.
And so we're insurgent Marxist Democrats now. That's crazy. How are you American citizens but also insurgents? I'm not sure how that works.
They would impeach the president on the first day.
Yep.
They've already said what they're going to do. They'll convert every committee of Congress into an investigative body. They'll spend every waking hour investigating the president and his family and the cabinet and going on this lawfare exercise.
Well, yeah, they're criminals, right? So that's a pretty good idea. Should we not investigate criminals?
It would roil the market.
Also, these same people just spent 4 years talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, and basically all we got out of it. And in all fairness, I'll give them credit. 4 years of Hunter Biden's laptop coverage. In 40 years of my life, the best thing I've ever seen Congress, like in a congressional hearing, was Marge holding up screenshots of Hunter Biden's dick. I loved that. I could go back to that. Those were good times. But yeah, we should investigate them.
Markets. It would undermine people's confidence in the U.S. and the economy. It would empower our enemies across the globe at the worst possible time. We cannot allow them to do that. Okay. The problem that we have right now is that the people coming behind us don't understand how dangerous these ideas are. They don't understand.
Do I need help with Hunter Biden's dick? Maybe. Thing's a monster.
That socialism is a road to ruin. They don't understand that socialism is a step to get to communism. It's Marxist philosophy. They thought communism would be the utopia, the perfect society. They're dead wrong. Okay.
How exciting is that for the Republicans here? Mark, thanks for saying that. I'm smart about some things, ignorant about others. Well, that's true. There are things I'm ignorant about, for sure. I don't know everything. What do we think about that? Does it get you pretty excited? You got to vote or else they'll hold Trump accountable. We can't let that happen. I can't believe all you leftists have is pejoratives. I can't believe you you know the word pejorative. That's pretty impressive. Where'd you learn that? That word of the day today? I bet Marge still has it on her laptop. I bet she has it on her wall. And when her and her Newsmax husband get busy, she just pretends he's Hunter Biden. Here's Laura Ingraham again. I don't know what you guys are going to run on. I don't know where you think you're going to get excitement. I feel the Democrats are not very good at messaging. I feel like if I want to, in my own small way, if I want to impact midterms, the best thing I can do is just play a bunch of clips of Republicans speaking. It's so bad. There's no message. It's just, guys, communism is scary, and don't let them get Trump. I just don't think. I think most people don't care.
Last night I told you that the left-wing hacks are working overtime to
that's me.
demoralize Republicans before the midterms.
And the guy is among the least popular presidents in modern history. His approval.
I saw that One Love that Luke Beasley said about Hunter. He's like, what did you think about them using all the ink in DC? Did Luke Beasley get writers? He's got like this kind of funny show now. I haven't seen much of him lately, and then everything I see now, he's kind of funny. Did he get some writers? He's doing a good job.
Rating is hovering around 34% and trending downward.
Trump's approval numbers remain underwater. Many of his top policies are deeply unpopular.
Sorry, real quick. I'll take the bait. Lemon Don, what do you mean cope? What are we coping from here? What's the cope? We're talking about the primaries that are coming up, right? So we don't know the outcome of that yet. What's the cope here? Luke Beasley's a comedian? Stop it. There's no way. I'm a hack. Yeah, I get it. That's fine. If I'm like a dyed in the wool Democrat, I don't like. There's no cope right now. They're winning all the contested elections. Polling looks great for them. The cope would be the people that are like down in the polling and losing the elections, right? When the world would we be? You think we're still coping about 2024? Is that what you're saying? Maybe. All right. Just happened to the sound there.
Nah, they want you to believe that all hope is lost, so you don't even bother voting. Don't even show up.
True. MAGA, all hope is lost. Don't bother showing up. She's right about that.
Why? Because then they get to waltz back into power on the Hill, impeach Trump, and then get ready to back AOC or Newsom or Ossoff in 2028. And then, well, undo Trump's success with energy independence, reshoring manufacturing, and locking down the border. Now, look, of course, the White House wishes his numbers were higher and that the Iran war was solved or resolved. But don't fall for what is a giant exercise in deflection. Plus, don't...
Deflection of what? Democrats have no power. There's nothing to deflect from. They're saying, hey, we can't do anything. If you elect us, we can do something. Deflection is what the Republicans are doing when they keep talking about communism. You, Lemon Don, it's you. You're deflecting. You're coping. You can't explain any of these policies that Democrats are running on, and you don't want to talk about them because as soon as we get into the details of the policies that Democrats are running on, they're pretty popular. So you just have to be like, communism.
Discount the number of voters who deeply admire and appreciate the president's work.
The president Republicans most admire. It's Donald Trump. This is a historic comparison.
All right. That's what Laura Ingram's telling us now. Guys, everything's like, it's not working. Trump's numbers are bad, but the Democrats are trying to deflect from things being bad. Yeah, just say we accomplished nothing but making Trump rich. I think for a lot of Trump people, that's good enough. Like the fact that Trump got rich, that's fine with them. That's plenty. Young Kings of SD said Christian Castro in Texas. Texas freed Barabbas. Where is Christian Castro? I don't remember where he's at. Okay. Here's Fox Business. Now, they're a little more serious than Laura Ingraham. So they brought on Mike Lawler, and they're like, hey, one of the biggest issues in this campaign season is going to be healthcare. It is. If you look at any sort of polling of what people care about, it's affordability, it's foreign wars, it's gas prices, it's healthcare. Those are kind of like the four main pillars. And so ask Republicans what they're going to do, what their plan is. What is the plan, Lemon? Trump may have low polls, it's worse for Democrats. So by your own rule, that means Trump is doing better. Nope. It's because you're comparing Trump to the Democratic Party as a whole. If you compare Trump's favorability numbers to, say, John Ossoff or even somebody like Gavin Newsom or AOC, their favorability numbers are higher. But yeah, I'm not surprised that you don't understand. It's confusing for you because your party is Trump, right? That's your whole thing. And Democrats are unpopular because they don't get a lot of shit done, but there's some popular people. But here's what Mike Lawler, running in New York, he has to take a moderate position, and he's got to be able to answer this. And there's a lot of Republicans running in like purple areas. They're going to have an answer for what are we planning on doing for healthcare. I don't think this is going to cut it.
But you also have to focus on campaigning, right? And there was a report that Trump's advisors have
what people care about is all these Democrats being arrested for stealing federal money and how long it's been going on. Nope. Polling says nobody gives a fuck about that except for Republicans who are voting for Trump. And the only reason that you guys give a fuck about that is because you don't want to talk about the issues. And if the reason that we know that is because when Republicans are stealing and Republicans are doing fraud, you never talk about it. So we know that you don't care about that. So that's just like a wish for you. But if you go and you look at polling all over the country, that doesn't even crack the top 50.
And there was a report that Trump's advisors have told Republicans, hey, campaign on health care. It could be your silver bullet going back into your district. So if that is, in fact, true, what is the sell on health care? What are you going to tell the people?
Before we get there, Mark, this is the problem you've got here. You said Trump isn't running for office, so who cares what his polls are? Your people do. They just told us that they're running on Trump. Pretend Trump is on the ballot. They're doing this midterm convention, and they're going to bring out all these Republicans, and they're going to say, pretend Trump is on the ballot. They're running on Trump, even though he's not on the ballot. I agree with you. It shouldn't be about Trump, but the party is so fucked and so cucked that they're just like, we're running on Trump. Watch what happens when Mike Lawler tries to give us an answer on healthcare. He's going to advocate for socialism here. Watch this.
On healthcare that the Republicans are doing right.
Well, first of all, what we did was actually strengthen the Medicaid program by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh, word? What you did for healthcare is you improved socialized healthcare? Notice he didn't talk about your private insurance, right? He's only talking about people on Medicare. That's the plan? That's what they're going to run on? We cut out fraud in Medicare? Fine. That's good. Let's make sure that it looks like maybe we should expand that, right? If that's all you guys can do, if that's all that the government can do to fix healthcare, maybe we should just expand Medicare so that you guys can consistently root out waste, fraud, and abuse, and we can have a healthier system. What do you think about that? Lemon Don? I thought you guys weren't socialist. Why are you bragging about socialist policies like that? Socialized healthcare.
Requiring eligibility verification, banning illegal immigrants from collecting benefits, and enacting work requirements for able-bodied adults.
First of all, undocumented immigrants were already banned from having Medicare. Just because you wrote something down, like I ban myself from flying on a magic carpet.
Without dependent children. I'm going to be 40 in just 2 weeks. If you are 39 years old without dependent children and you are
how the fuck's that guy? How's he younger than me? Congress is rough on you, Mike.
Refusing to work, shame on you. We're simply saying 20 hours a week, work, go to school, or volunteer. That is reasonable.
Okay, so their plan to fix your exploding healthcare costs is to cut out waste, fraud, and abuse for people who are on a socialized healthcare plan. that you all hate. Good luck. Ashley Moody was AG of Florida and knew about the 10 million. True. We should keep reminding. I saw Ron DeSantis out today being like, we've been totally exonerated. Like, that's not what the grand jury said. Axe said, Em reminded me dues were due. Thanks for all my beautiful friends. Side note, Jake Lang bond was revoked from Texas. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, guys. Thank you. Stacy, big W for Stacy, sending $50 of super chat, said, it's true the Dems are terrible at messaging, and it's the biggest threat to the midterms right now. That and whatever October surprise RNC has in store and Trump's threat to voting. We don't push back hard enough on lies. Get it together, Dems. Yeah, this is one of those times where, like, generally I don't want to just focus on attacking the other side. I don't even know that we have to attack the other side. I think right now you should let Republicans speak. You should amplify what they're saying, because it's nonsense, and it's not going to motivate anybody. Laura said, end of the month Antifa dues. Thank you, guys. That is a good reminder. End of the month is coming up, and Antifa dues are due, so we got to get those in. Illusion said, on the election stuff, did you catch the QR code domain stealing by the U.S. makes me think they'll use them to funnel ballots for USPS. Check it out. I saw something about it this morning. It's in my saved videos. I saw it towards the end, so I'll probably have that next week. But I don't know a great deal about that so far. Em said, you're a bitch, Jay. Happy Friday to those in chat and on Twitch. Love you guys. Don't forget end of the month Antifa dues. Did that one not show up on my Streamlabs because it says you're a bitch? That's pretty funny. Thank you. Sometimes. Maybe all the time. I don't know. Trying to call people bitches less. Okay. This was interesting from Jasmine Crockett, and my first reaction here was that it was sour grapes, and maybe Jasmine Crockett has some sour grapes. I know that people in her campaign, at least she's been quiet about it, but there are people in her campaign who are not fans of James Tallarico. There was some stuff behind the scenes that I know caused some issues. But she's not out. She's been noticeably absent from campaigning with Tallarico, and maybe she doesn't like him, maybe she does, but I actually like her explanation here. And whether she's not campaigning with him because she dislikes him or she's telling the truth here, I don't really care. I think what she's doing is the right thing. I have a second question for all the people in the chat with pierced ears. What does this feel like to wear earrings like this? She does look. She always looks beautiful. We know. I'm not allowed to say shit anymore, but we all know how I feel about Jasmine Crockett. Starstruck. But I actually think what she's saying here kind of makes sense.
But so do you. You are often, an energy magnet when it comes to voters. We've seen the turnout that you can produce. Tallarico might very well need that magnetism. Will you campaign with him?
I will be campaigning down ballot. I think that what matters most, because when we're looking at a state like Texas, we've tried this where we've got one amazing candidate that's running at the top of the ticket. Beto is a very good example of this, raising all the money, doing all the things, running around the entire state, but it's not enough. So for me, I don't think that it should be a matter of there's just one thing that is getting me to the polls. I think it has to be something a little bit more in a state like Texas. And so for me, I think that making sure that people that maybe are getting overshadowed because it seems like it's only about one big race, I think amplifying them, making sure that I can raise their...
Okay, so this is why Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were effective. Doesn't get talked about enough, and it hasn't been replicated by the Democrats. Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were not really moving the needle nationally, but what they did is they focused on districts that were winnable, and they focused on turnout. And they didn't just like go around with the senators. They didn't just go around with the governor. They didn't just go around with presidential candidates. They went district to district, and they made sure that they had excitement in these districts. Like Eli Crane is a good example here in Arizona. I can't stand Eli Crane. I don't think he's terribly intelligent, but they took a guy who had the marketability of a church fart, and they made him really, really popular where he lives. The Democrats need to have some sort of movement like that. The problem is, I think a lot of people want the attention. So whether it's sour grapes or not, I think what she's doing makes a great deal of sense. And if we've learned anything from Mom Donnie, if we've learned anything from Angie, what's her last name? Is it Nixon in Florida? I'm blanking on her last name. It's that these grassroots campaigns, like getting out there and going to each community, that they matter. It matters a lot. Nixon? Okay, yeah. It matters a great deal, and it's one of the few things you can do that beats money. So I like what she's doing, whether I can't speak to her motives. I'm always going to side with Jasmine Crockett and assume that everything she does is perfect. So I'm probably too biased to call balls and strikes here, but I think it's the right move.
Profiles and introducing them to people, that'll give something more to voters to make them say, you know what, it may be raining outside, but I got to go get there because I got to go get there for this person and this person. Plus, I don't like Trump.
I understand, but is it an either or? Either you excite the down ballot or you.
I think for me, it probably is. I think it probably is, only because I am, we've got the fire pack that's going, and I'm running all over the country. And Texas is a big state. We're not talking about a small little state to kind of get around. We're talking about a really big state. And so for me, I'm really invested in a number of candidates that I didn't get to do anything for because I was running my own Senate race, candidates that I really do believe can make a difference no matter what happens.
Can I also say, if she does have sour grapes, it's pretty easy to cast stones from glass houses. I don't know if anybody has been more screwed over by the establishment and the country than Jasmine Crockett. She was representing a district that got ripped from her. They redistricted, and so it's not representative of like who voted her in. Then she had a handshake agreement that she would be the Senate candidate. I think Tallarico was supposed to be the candidate for governor, and then they went back on that. I don't blame her for having some animosity. I don't blame her for not campaigning with Tallarico. If she's going out and she's campaigning in these other areas and she's getting turnout, and she drives turnout. She really, really drives turnout. You think these people are going to show up and vote, and then they're going to vote for Ken Paxton? They might not even like Tallarico, but do we really think they're going to vote for Paxton over Tallarico? Probably not. Seriously, Crockett's garbage. What's garbage about Crockett? Give me a specific thing that you think is garbage about Crockett. Yeah, look at that. Look at the men. Yeah, exactly. Look at the men afraid of smart women. 100% smart black woman too. Let's not pretend that it's not that. She's a hack. Yeah, cool. Yeah, give me something specific though. None of you will have anything specific to say. What I'm saying is correct. She drives turnout. She's very popular. And in Texas, this might come as a surprise, but Texas Democrats don't have a lot of trust with black voters. Jasmine Crockett does. Not just because Jasmine Crockett's black, but because she speaks to black voters. She advocates for black voters. I don't like all of her politics, to be frank. But you're out of your mind if you don't think that she drives voters. Yeah, I'm with you there, William. They just feel small that she's accomplished more. Yeah, I'm with you there too, Beerarchy. Kind of a corporate Dem, had a lot of bad votes under her belt. I agree with that. I think she was I remember it wasn't AIPAC, but she took some money there, which I honestly, I think if you're at a place now where you like don't fund Israel, whatever, I'm fine with that. You're in the right place now. But do you see how there's no? I'm looking through Twitch, I'm looking through YouTube, I'm looking through TikTok. There's no real criticism. There's no specific criticism for Jasmine Crockett here. I don't think it was AIPAC money, Casey. I think it was. I don't remember if it was. What's the other one? Something Street, whatever it is. She took some crypto pack money, I think, too. Yeah. Dallas. I'm not. I mean, Tallarico and I aren't on the same page on everything either. I'll take her or Tallarico from Texas. It's Texas. Yeah. I was just looking for a specific criticism anywhere in the chat. J Street, thank you. UK. Nothing. Don't see anything. What's your favorite Jasmine Crockett accomplishment for the state of Texas? What do you mean? She doesn't work for she represents the state of Texas in the federal government, right? So she's not passing laws for Texas. I think that the infrastructure bill, It's good. She had a lot of good votes for Texas. Texas certainly has benefited from the infrastructure and also renewable energy subsidies, wind and solar specifically. Her votes for that were important. Well, I don't know what her record as a state rep, Hootie. I'm not familiar with state politics in Texas. I have no idea what her record is when she was a state rep. So I don't know. You've watched me long enough. You know, I rarely cover state politics, and the idea that I would know what her record was in state politics, that's asking a lot. If there's people in Texas, they might know. I love Jasmine Crockett, but two, I just think like she brings voters. She gets turnout, and that matters in politics. If she had like if she matched with me ideologically, but didn't drive voters, would she really be that effective in Texas? No, she'd be less effective. Let's be pragmatic about it. She's a weapon. He doesn't know it. No, he's just trying to get me to say, he's just trying to like, again, we asked for a specific criticism and nobody has one. So now it's just like, oh, what do you like? Give me one real criticism. I thought you were a big fan. Well, yeah, I'm a big fan of her. I don't know her whole. I don't even know where she's from. I don't know where she went to school. I don't know any of that stuff. Sorry, it's not like it's not like she's my hero. But do you have a specific criticism? They don't like her because she's a former prosecutor, and if the House and Senate flips, I mean, let's just be completely fucking honest. They don't like how she dresses. They don't like how she talks. Every time she would torch some Republican, it was always some smart ass response about her looks. Every time. Everybody knows why you don't like Jasmine Crockett. Otherwise, you could come up with a specific criticism. She was unable to get anything passed as a state rep. Is that true? Let's see. Did Jasmine Crockett pass any bills as a state rep? You got to apologize if you get this wrong, by the way, Hootie. You're making me Google something. So if you get it wrong, you have to... as a primary author of the bill during her time, no. She co-authored multiple, though. So yeah, as a primary author, no. I guess that's the criticism, that she wasn't the primary author of any bills that passed. She's from St. Louis. Answer sass. She's a lunatic with too much grip to let it slip. She's so St. Louis. Ask her tattooist. She's like the water boy. Now you say you can do it. Seriously, Storm, that's crazy. All right.
Ultimately, at the top of the ticket, we've got to have wins.
What are you hearing from
Bingo. Anyways, I like that. I thought that was a good answer. I can't speak to her motivations, but I thought that was a good answer. Here is I'm going to skip that because I don't care about Lake Ontario anymore. All right. I want to play this from Chris Van Hollen. One thing we haven't covered in a long time, and I feel bad about this, like we've kind of just, there's so many things going on. We have the midterms coming up. We obviously have the war in Iran. We forget that Israel is a bunch of genocidal maniacs. We don't forget, but we forget to cover it sometimes. I know yesterday they killed 3 people. They renewed strikes. I think it was in the West Bank somewhere. Here's Chris Van Hollen pointing out something that we should probably remember. Now, have you ever heard a single Republican talk about the amount of Americans who have been killed in Israel in the last 4 years? Because I haven't. I don't hear very many Democrats talk about it. I certainly haven't talked about it in a long time, and I think we should address that. I think we should talk about why it is that Israel's allowed to kill Americans.
Long past time that we shine a light on all of the human rights abuses taking place in the West Bank, including the killings of American citizens, and including the complete lack of accountability and justice.
Just so we have the names, Omar Assad was killed January 12th, 2022 in the West Bank. He's a 78-year-old Palestinian American who died after Israeli soldiers stopped, restrained, blindfolded, and left him at a construction site. Israel's military later said it found no causal link between soldiers' actions and his death. Shireen Abu Akleh is a Palestinian-American journalist shot and killed while covering an Israeli military raid. Israel later said it was highly likely one of its soldiers killed her, describing it, though, as unintentional. Tafik Jacques, sorry for the pronunciation here, also in the West Bank, was a 17-year-old Louisiana-born Palestinian-American shot while riding in a vehicle with friends. Israeli authorities cited alleged rock throwing. Witnesses and family disputed that account. Yeah, kill him because he threw a rock. Everybody that was there said it didn't happen, but there's like, well, he threw a rock, kill him. Mohammed Kaddour from the West Bank, 17-year-old U.S. citizen born in Florida, killed when gunfire struck the vehicle he was riding in. Relatives described it as unprovoked. I believe not the same incident, actually. Jacob Flickinger, a U.S.-Canadian dual citizen and World Central Kitchen aid worker, killed with 6 colleagues when an Israeli airstrike hit their convoy. That was in the Gaza Strip, not the West Bank. Senor Ezgi Egi, a 26-year-old Turkish-American activist from Washington State, fatally shot during a protest against a settlement outpost. Israel said the shot was indirect and unintentional. Kamel Ahmad Jawad, a Lebanese-American community leader from Michigan, killed in an Israeli airstrike I guess that was in Lebanon. So that one doesn't count for in the West Bank. Still killed by the Israelis. Amer Mohammed Sada Rabi, a 14-year-old New Jersey-born Palestinian-American shot dead by Israeli forces. Military alleged rock throwing again. Safola Musalet, a Florida resident, reported as age 20 or 21 in contemporary coverage, died after an assault during a settler attack while visiting relatives. That's how many under 18? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Were there 4? 4 kids just killed by the Israelis.
The situation on the West Bank has gone from very bad to simply terrible.
Sorry, before this goes, I'm so sorry. Superman fan said, "Hey Jen, can we get cornball stickers?" I hate that. Damien said, "Niners own the West." Hell yeah, they do. Young Kids of SD said she's a sore loser and screwed over Cori Bush in Missouri. I'm not familiar with what she did to Cori Bush in Missouri. I'll have to look that up. Sorry.
You see violent Israeli settlers attacking Palestinian civilians with impunity, pushing Palestinians off their lands, burning cars and buildings and mosques, all with the complicity of the IDF and many members of the extremist Netanyahu government encouraging this activity. In just over the last 4 years, we've also seen 9 American citizens killed, gunned down, either by violent Israeli settlers or members of the Israeli security forces. And in none of these cases have we seen any accountability, no justice. So that's why I, together with 9 of my colleagues, announced that we're introducing what's known as a 502B resolution in the Senate, requiring the administration to provide us within 30 days with a human rights report detailing all of these abuses and what the United States government intends to do about it.
I'm going to guess they slow walk that. This was an interesting point. I try not to play too much of Hassan because it gets everybody freaked out. But I saw this clip today from Hassan. I got to agree with him here.
I said this as well. I said in 3 years, we went from do you condemn Hamas to do you condemn Hassan? And Israel is still a belligerent entity that is causing destruction, goading Trump into war with Iran, and prominent Dems are focusing on a critic of Trump and Israel instead of Trump and Israel itself. Fools. And that is precisely what is going on. Okay? There are 35 House members and 6 senators who called on Marco Rubio and the Trump administration to free 20-year-old Sama Safi from Israeli detention. Rashida Tlaib led 40 members of Congress, including 6 senators, demanding Marco Rubio free 20-year-old American Sama Safi from Israeli detention. Doctors warn that Israel's detention is putting Sama at risk of progressive tissue injury and irreversible organ damage. Okay? Shout out to Chris Van Hollen, by the way, leading the charge on the Senate side. It was, much respect. And while...
What are we doing? Isn't Israel like our friend? Ask John Fetterman. Ask the late, dead Lindsey Graham. They're the good guys, right? What in the world are they doing with American citizens in detention? Aren't we in this war together? Aren't we on the same side? Why are they detaining American citizens? Why aren't we doing anything about that?
That's happening. There are more Democrats, more establishment Democrats that have condemned me than have demanded that the Trump administration release an American citizen in Israeli prison.
I love this one. He's a hypocrite. He complains about capitalism and buys a $2 million house. Yeah, I don't know if you know this about capitalism. It doesn't mean money. You can be wealthy under socialism. Like, everybody doesn't make the same. This is, again, like, it's not a hypocrite. He's not a hypocrite for buying a $2 million house. You just don't know what words mean. It's such a stupid argument. You don't think that in a socialist environment that there wouldn't be people who are more wealthy than others? They call themselves capitalists but own zero factories. Yeah, where are you placing your capital? Do you have a job? Or are you did you invest your capital? Do you own a company that required an investment of capital? Or do you just work a job? You're just labor. Right? Like, Hassan owns his own labor. What Hassan does is far closer to socialism than capitalism. He owns all of his own labor. So what's the hypocrisy here? Now, could you if you want to be critical and say that, you know, he could give more of his money away, I guess you can say that if you want. I don't think I don't think any of you, like, if you're a Republican, I don't think you really mean that. But there's nothing about being a socialist that says you can't be wealthy. If you own your own labor and your labor is really valuable, then that's fine. The complaint about capitalism is that the capitalists make money that's not off of their labor. They make it off of investment. So when you're arguing against Hassan, you're like, oh, you know what's it actually, having money is more valuable than your labor. So the more money you have, the easier it should be to acquire more money. But Hassan loses, like, if he stops doing this, how many hours I saw somebody say he streams between 8 and 10 hours a day. I don't know if that's true. If that's true, that's crazy. That's insane stamina. He should be redistributing his resources as a person that wants redistribution. That's the hypocrisy. No, it's not, because again, if you're calling him a socialist, what he wants is that people should own their own labor. So the redistribution is of the people who are making the money not off of labor. They're making the money off of investment rather than labor. You have to understand, like, what the redistribution is. Again, I'm not a socialist, but I agree with that. I agree. And it's completely imbalanced. We'll get to this a little bit later, but it's completely imbalanced. Never in the history of this country has it been more imbalanced that the labor versus capital returns have been this imbalanced. No, very few people in this country get rich off of their own labor. He's one of the few. Like, tell me a billionaire, a multimillionaire, somebody worth over $100 million. Find me one person with a net worth over $100 million that made that money off their own labor. No, there is no wealthy under true socialism. Sure, whatever. I mean, sure, under no true Scotsman, whatever. But if you own your own labor and you do more labor and you make more money than somebody else, I don't know he probably has an LLC. I don't know if he has employees working for him. Find me somebody. Do we have a name? Somebody worth more than $100 million who made their money entirely off the backs of their own labor? I can't think of one. We have Hassan. They have multiple Tim Pools. That's the other thing. Like, even people like Tim Pool, he's not making most of his money off the backs of his own labor. Like, he's getting money from foreign governments as a propagandist. I wouldn't say that's for his labor.
While many rush to condemn Hassan Piker for something he never said, Chris Van Hollen is the only 2028 contender in the Senate calling for Trump to free a 20-year-old American from Israeli detention. No Gallego, no Booker, no Kelly, no Murphy, no Ossoff, no Slotkin, no Warnock.
How'd you come up with that? You don't consider creating your own business labor? Yeah, I do. I do consider creating your own business, your own labor. But then when your business grows off of the backs of other people's labor and you continue to profit off that, like let's say that you're not putting in the same amount of work, but you're making more money, then you are profiting off of others' labor. All right. Anyways, point there by Hassan. I like pulling him up just so we can argue about socialism. Okay, this is disgusting. So the Department of Justice is moving to revive a policy that we haven't seen since the Civil War. It's called prize courts. Basically, it's a way that they can claim seized Iranian oil as property. We're pirates now. The same shit we're doing in Venezuela, where we just steal their oil and sell it. Those are called prize courts. And now the DOJ is quietly moving towards this. This was from Drop Site News, who, if you don't follow, I highly recommend. This is on Breaking Points with Crystal and Sager. I think this is Ryan Grimm and Sager, I think is how you say his name.
Traditional prize law, I believe the captain gets 50%, the crew gets 3%. So are we going to see seaborne mercenaries, or is it just the Navy? Like, how is this all going to work?
And this is what was so revolutionary about the actual pirates.
Cam says you're such a cornball. I know you have multiple.
Of the actual Caribbean back in the day, they would share the prize equally.
Right.
Whereas you had these kind of mercantile capitalistic privateers who would go out and the captain would take most of it. So clearly the next stage has to be the privatization of this. So Hegseth has to then, what's the word you use where you basically allow other privateers a letter of marque. So Hegseth needs to do that so that there are a lot of ships that can't get in and out. So now they can kind of arm themselves with their own little drone swarms.
Right.
And then they can patrol. And why stop at the Strait of Hormuz?
Right. Yeah. Why not just take anybody's oil?
There are ships all over the oceans.
Right.
Like then there are many oceans.
And so it almost would undermine.
Republicans are so bad at running the economy that now we're probably going to have to just like become pirates. We're just going to start stealing oil from people. We've just decided we do whatever we want. I think that if you want to go down this route, then we have to decide that as a country, we're pirates forever. You can't go down this route and expect goodwill. You can't expect that people will want to be trading partners with us. You can't expect trust. You can make really solid arguments that this administration is like working on the behalf of Russia and China and trying to unravel the United States as a world power. These are all the things that you would do to bring down a world power, and we're doing it. We're not stealing Venezuelan oil. You're uninformed again. America invested all the infrastructure that developed the oil industry in Venezuela. Learn about the history of an industry. First of all, respectfully, you don't tell me to learn about shit when you're wrong. America did not invest in all the infrastructure that developed the oil industry in Venezuela. In fact, we invested $0. There were oil companies based in America that did business in Venezuela who contributed to some of the infrastructure in Venezuela, but it's not ours. Just because people from America invested doesn't mean it was ours. Why would we get that? And so, by the way, yes, we are stealing them. You know how I know we're stealing it? Because we used our military to steal the boats. We said, give us that. And they said, no. And we boarded their vessels and we stole their oil. That's crazy. Like, we don't even own our own oil. How the fuck could we own Venezuelan oil? I think there's a disconnect sometimes with Republicans on like what the United States owns and what people own. We like Shell or BP. If they're making money in Venezuela, that has nothing to do with us. Just because they were just same way that like a company that's based in England can do business here, and that doesn't mean that the English government is making money or that they own it. That's obviously silly, right? Like, could China come to the United States and just be like, we did that? Well, all those cell phones, that's us. We're going to take, it's not stealing. We invested in all this. It's ours. That's silly.
Literally the backbone of the empire, which is freedom of it's no such thing, freedom of navigation. Freedom of navigation is a fake thing created by us to backstop global trade because we were the great recipients of extremely cheap goods. But as they show now, the unfinalized plans, if adopted, leads to a faster path for federal prosecutors to claim oil and other cargo taken from enemy or neutral vessels.
Exactly. You know what's better than extremely cheap goods?
Enemies or neutral vessels. Cool. Well, it's just Hegseth stepping up to a microphone. I am the captain now. We're just Somali pirates now.
Free goods.
Free goods. As U.S. property, the seized goods would then be sold with the proceeds transferred to the U.S. Treasury. So I guess the sailors will be missing out on this one. They even say ship owners and Iranian terrorism victims would then be the potential litigants expected to challenge the prize court's use, maritime lawyers and others said, because they would face the operational hurdle of carrying out the court process of which they have zero experience. And so once a regular feature of 18th and 19th.
Zero experience should be the name of the book that they eventually write to talk about this Trump presidency. And it'll just be everybody who got put in a position with zero experience. Like in the chat, we could do this all day. We could name names. How many people in this administration got put in a position with zero experience? I can point to a couple. Top of my head, Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, then replaced by Mark Wayne McMullins McStuffins. Linda McMahon at the Department of Education, Pete Hegseth at the Defense Department. Like most of the administration has literally no experience, none.
Century naval combat, it has gone largely unused since the Spanish-American War of 1898 and has lain entirely dormant since World War II. In recent decades, they have relied instead on civil forfeiture law as the mechanism for seizing ships and obtaining their assets to enforce sanctions violation. But according to them, that's just too late, and they need to show the American public that we're getting something out of it. And so, of course, as we all know.
So we're not getting anything out of this war except for getting our dicks kicked in financially. So now they're like, how are we going to sell this to the American people? Well, what if we just start stealing shit? Now you guys are pro-crime, pro-stealing. It's fine. We're America. We can steal.
What would happen with Venezuela? We're going to make billions of dollars in oil. Oh, oops, actually we seized a tanker. The tanker, it turns out, needs $50 million, the Venezuelans, to retrofit. And then the amount of oil that we need to pump and ship on a daily basis would take a year or two just to make up the retrofit cost before you even go into the black. Yeah. Same thing happens with many of the refineries and all the other investments that we're trying to make. And it turns out that the amount of oil we're getting from Venezuela is piddly compared to the amount, of course, that's even held up
and what it requires,
with record transfers.
What it requires is some level of business certainty. That 2 years from now, the regime that's in place is going to be the same.
Cash Patel, good call.
Regime. And I don't mean government. I mean just the arrangement by which you're pumping out, refining, and shipping oil. And nobody thinks Trump can be trusted week to week to be doing the same thing. So I sound like some wild conservative out here talking about business certainty, but yeah, this is just not how you're going
to. Dr. Oz, Herschel Walker. Well, I don't think Herschel Walker has a job, but that would work. Okay. I mean, where do we want to go here? Yeah, let me make sure this is the right one. This looks like the wrong one. No, it's not. This is Ron Insana. Hopefully I'm saying that name correctly. This is what I was explaining earlier. We are at all-time, record levels of wealth disparity. And the last time we were at levels anywhere near this, we had the Great Depression after. And there was a massive revolt, and the United States of America basically changed all of our policies, and we massively increased corporate taxes, and we massively increased top marginal tax rates, and that's how we had to undo this type of wealth inequality. It's the only way that we can actually undo this going forward, and it's going to be with Republicans kicking and screaming about socialism. But it's the only way we can do this.
Income today is at its lowest level in history.
Explain what that means.
So workers are getting less money as part of the overall economy than they've ever gotten before. Capital, the people who are making the investments, those people who are running these large AI.
Who was that was saying the same thing over and over again? I got the exact wage I negotiated with the company. Cool, cuck. But it's the least amount that we've ever got. Employees are not being paid well. Like, they're being paid at the worst levels we've ever seen as a share of the total wealth. You think that's good? That's capitalism. That's a system you want to fight for? Or you guys just fight for crumbs there at the bottom?
Running these large AI firms are making scads of money, and it's going untaxed, as are their businesses. You know, corporate taxes as a percent of revenues to the federal government are under 10%. Income taxes and payroll taxes account for 80% of what the government takes in.
So what are you saying, Jim Bob? You said your wage is your responsibility, not your employer. I love meritocracy. So what is that saying? If never before have wages been a smaller share, what are we saying then? Just everybody's unqualified in America except for the owners of the companies? Like the workforce is just too stupid, so they don't deserve any money? Is that the argument you're making? I know you want to do like the bootlicking thing and be like, oh, I get paid well. Fuck everybody else. We should just never, when it gets to this level of disproportionality, we should just keep rooting for it. Let's do more of this. It's working.
Taxes and payroll taxes account for 80% of what the government takes in. You start laying people off, and that math flips on its head. So there's no way then ever to talk about reducing deficits or debt because they'll never bring in enough money. Labor share of national income.
How do you fix it then, Jim Bob? How do we fix the problem we have with debt and wealth inequality? Any Republican. I got accused of this being an echo chamber earlier. Just a reminder, you can come and join us and correct me on anything, anytime you want. You message JenDub1, JenNDUBB1 on Discord. She'll bring you up. You can join the stream, and you can correct me on any of this. But what's the other answer? If the answer is not tax the rich and force a more equal distribution of the wealth, then what's the answer? All right, cool. Real doctor, what's the answer then? I'm a Democrat, but you're an idiot. Cool, what's the answer? I'm looking pretty comfortable off of donations and golfing. Thank you, appreciate it. Brother, I don't think, I don't know who, like, you're here every day. It's kind of weird. You've been like chirping all day that it's the same people here. You're one of the most consistent viewers here. What's your criticism here? Do you not think people should be able to pay their bills? You think that somebody shouldn't be able to do what I do? Is that what you're saying? You shouldn't be able to like be a streamer and make a living? Is that the argument there? You do not profit on my own labor. You profit on other people's money. Yeah, that's how everybody profits. You Jesus. Where do you get your money? You make your own money? Everybody gets other people's money. That's literally every single person in this chat that makes money gets it from someone else. This is one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in my life. Where do you get your money? Your employer? Where does the employer get that money? You guys sell a product? Who buys the product? You're just explaining currency, bud. That's not capitalism. Leprechaun Ginger. Capitalists don't seem to know what socialism is, but they sure as shit don't know what capitalism is. You can have money and be a socialist. In some ways, like I've used my own capital to build this platform. You know, at first, like the first year and a half, almost 2 years, I lost money. Like there was, you know, when I first started, there was 5 people in my chat. And I just kept building and building and building. But I lost, I blew through my savings for like 2 years. So anybody that pays me now, they're paying me for my labor. I get up in the morning, I prepare a show, I provide commentary. People pay me if they like it. If they don't, they don't. Some of you just get free entertainment for nothing. And then you're out here like complaining that I get paid. And again, like I don't care how much money anybody makes. It's about wealth distribution. You think that the people that are sending me money are people that are sending me like their last dollar? It's people that appreciate what we do, and they have some extra money, and they pay for a service. Not everybody's leeches like you, Robert. Not everybody just sits there and gets free entertainment all day, every day. And I don't even care about the criticism, honestly. It's just like, I wish you understood the difference between money and capitalism. Money and capitalism are not the same things. I need 360 days so I can pay for my tea time at the private club. This is what's silly. You don't pay for tea times at a private club, right? Why are you worried about where I spend my money? Like, what are these criticisms from a conservative? Why does Donald Trump raise money? It's just so dumb. If you got rich off this channel, you would want to be taxed more for taking the risk and initiative in yourself. Yeah, if I make more money, I get this is I swear to Christ, you motherfuckers don't know how anything works. The more money you make, the more you pay in taxes. That's math. It's just math. Do you think the more money you make, the less percentage of your money should be taken? You think the poorest people should pay the biggest percentage of their money? Is that the argument? Yeah, I expect that the more money I make, the more taxes I'll pay. And I'm a streamer, right? So I can't write off that much. I can write off a partial amount of where I live. I can write off like my internet. I can write off my computer. There's not a lot. Like if I travel, if I wind up like traveling and I'm recording things, I can write some of that off. But there's not a great deal of write-offs for me. So yeah, the more I make, the more, like, I'm for sure going to pay more as a percentage in taxes than any billionaire in the country. 100% sure. Because I can't write that much stuff off. So yeah, if I make more money next year than I make this year, am I going to be okay paying more taxes? Of course. That's how math works. You guys come off as people who have like never paid taxes before. Or maybe you've never had like wealth before, and that's fine, but like this is just basic math. This stream would crumble without Jen and Casey for facts. Yeah, microphones and hats. I don't know. I could probably write off the hats too. Anyways, stop pocket watching. For a capitalist, you're doing a lot of pocket watching, my friend. Okay. Part of the problem, let's be honest. We can't look at Republicans, we can't look at the right and say that this is their problem, that we have this level of wealth inequality because of just the people on the right. It's the left too. Here's Robert Reich. Love Robert Reich. Don't love corporate Democrats. But you cannot blame Republicans without also pointing the finger at corporate Democrats.
When you talk to voters.
Sorry, Evie Thang said, contributing to the grift. Thank you. Denise said, I appreciate you guys and your work. Thank you. Appreciate that. I miss any over here from Jen. Got it. What? Okay, I'll read that in a sec, Jen. It's crazy.
Voters, they are extremely angry at the Democratic Party, even if they didn't vote for Trump. What went wrong in the Democratic Party? How did the Democratic Party become so corporate? And where were those mistakes made? Was it NAFTA? Was it in compromising on single-payer healthcare? What went wrong?
Oh, I think you've got to go way back.
What the fuck is this? You pay more percentage but not more money? You gotta explain that to me. If I pay a higher percentage, I pay more in a dollar amount too. That's how percentages work. Jesus Christ. And that's true. I can't write off as much because I don't employ others. That's part of why I can't write stuff off. I also can't afford a yacht or a private plane, which would be cool. But then I could write those off because why not let billionaires write off yachts and private planes?
Back to the early 1980s, when the Democratic...
Oh, talking about more than a billionaire. Okay, gotcha. Never mind. Okay, I hear you.
Congressional Campaign Committee under... let's say it was Tony Coelho at the time, made a deal with corporate America and said essentially, look, we are in control of the House.
Okay, my bad, Plumber Son. My bad. I see what you're saying now. That's my bad. I overreacted. I love you. Travis Call, thank you for the gifted subs over on Twitch too. Thank you very much.
We've been in control of the House since 1955. Remember, this is the early 80s. So we're going to be in control of the House forever. Why shouldn't we drink at the same trough of as the Republicans? And that proved to be a deal that was really an unmaking of the Democratic Party. I mean, once the Democrats began drinking at the same corporate trough as the Republicans, it's very difficult to bite the hands that feed you. And I saw again and again Democrats who were reluctant to take on big corporations and Wall Street because of all the funding that was coming from big corporations and Wall Street. The big difference I see now is that Democrats are saying, many Democrats, not all, but many Democrats are saying to those funding sources, those big corporations and the wealthy
voluntarist girl, just come up and we'll define all those things for you. Do it.
People, they're saying, no, we don't want your money. We are actually depending now on small donations. We think we can do it. We're organizing like mad, and we're creating a very different kind of campaign. And I think we'll see this increasingly in the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Once the Democrats decided they weren't the old Democrats, and once they decided, yeah, if we're getting corporate money, we might as well dip our fingers in the same pot. There was this idea like, oh, we're the better ones, right? If we get involved with corporate money, we'll handle it better than the Republicans. We won't be corrupt. And then here we are, and it's corrupt. Here's just another example of this level of corruption and how it hurts us. This is Ronan Farrell. Shout out Ronan Farrell. There was an audit done. There was an article on this, but I'll let him talk about it. I think it was in Wall Street Journal. But they did an audit in Georgia on what it costs for to bring in a data center. Like what does it actually cost to the state? How does the state benefit?
Last summer, residents around Washington, D.C. checked their power bills to find they had risen by about $20 a month. Just outside the city sits the largest concentration of data centers on Earth, drawing more electricity than many cities use in a day. The cost of that electricity is being passed on to 67 million Americans from Virginia to Illinois. So even if you never signed up for a chatbot or gave an AI company your credit card, you may still be paying for AI. Here's how. A major power grid serving the Mid-Atlantic and Midwest is run by an operator called PJM. Each year, PJM pays power plants in advance to lock in the power it needs to cover spikes in demand, like around heat waves or cold snaps. But data centers have now become the dominant source of new demand. In 2024 alone, PJM's locked-in energy costs rose by more than 800%. By 2027, it says 97% of its new demand will be from data centers. That extra cost is being divided across every customer's bill. Researchers at Harvard Law call this a cost shift, ordinary households underwriting the most valuable companies on Earth. Grid markets are structured differently across the country, but the dynamic, large data facilities pushing costs onto everyone else's bills, is not unique to PJM. Bloomberg analyzed 7 regional power grids across the country last year and found that wholesale prices near data centers have risen as much as 267% since 2020.
Nice. That's cool, huh? Volunteers girl, I'm not a socialist. Are you going to come up here and debate, or are you just going to claim victory in the chat after you ask me to define a bunch of stuff? I don't know what you want to argue with me about. There's YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and TikTok. Like the comments are cruising. I'm not going to debate you from the fucking comments. Come up here and talk about it, but I'm not a socialist.
The shifting of data center costs onto the public doesn't...
Just mute him. Voluntarist girl, we'll mute you. I'm tired of people like you every day. It's one of the things that pisses me off the most. You don't get to come in here, challenge me to a debate after I put all this effort in to put a show together, and then be like, if you don't meet my demands, I'm not coming up. Cool, don't come up, but don't talk then. Just shut up. So, mods, go ahead and mute Voluntarist girl. It's JenDub1, JENNDUBB, then the number 1 on Discord. Message her, you can come up, but your rights to be a troll have been removed.
Just happened through power bills. 38 states also offer tax breaks for data centers.
Sorry, why do I defend socialists? Because they're right. Because the policies they're advocating for make sense because I can do math, and I'm not a partisan ideologue. That's why. I don't defend everything socialist. I've said a million times, I don't want to live in a socialist country. I don't want to live in a communist country, which isn't possible. I don't want to live in a capitalist country. I believe in mixed economies. It's the best way to run an economy that we have examples of. I'm just not like you. I'm not somebody who's like, I'm a capitalist, and then you're like, oh, you make money. That's capitalism. It's silly. I think ideologues are silly. I think being stuck to one ideology is silly. I don't debate about that stuff. Like, if you disagree with me on Medicare for all, provide a better argument. Provide a better program. Just show me something better, and I'll switch to that. I used to not be in favor of it. Now I am. How'd that happen? I lost the debate. That's how that happened. So come up and just sell me on a better idea, and I'll change my mind.
Sales and property taxes, the state agrees not to collect. In Ohio, Google promised its data centers would bring jobs. But Good Jobs First, which tracks these subsidies, found that every job the project promised also came with $1.4 million in lost public revenue. That means that in some states, the public is bearing the cost twice. Once to cover the tax breaks used to attract the data centers, and then again when the increased power bill arrives. Beyond DC and Ohio, that's happening in states including Texas and Georgia. As of late 2025, nearly 16 gigawatts of new data center capacity was under construction in the US. And yes, that is lifting the economy and the companies at the forefront of AI. But Americans are also bearing the cost. Through development deals, tax breaks, and utility rates, the public generally doesn't vote on them. Of course, low-income households are hit the hardest. The portion of their income they spend on energy is already roughly 3 times that of wealthier households. People are starting to notice. In June 2026, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission ordered major grid operators to address this issue of data center costs being shifted onto other customers. They have 60 days to propose plans or argue their case.
And this is the disconnect. I do feel like we may demonize data centers in a way that we don't necessarily need to. Like AI and data centers and the need for compute, it's necessary. The argument simply is we shouldn't have to build out these data centers on the backs of the American people. If these folks, we talked about NVIDIA earlier, and I know they're not building out data centers, but like you have a bunch of their employees, like most of their employees, net worth $25 million. You have the billions of dollars are circulating. Why is it that the taxpayer winds up paying for this? There's a really good answer for this. Georgia will tell you that the reason that they bring these data centers to Georgia is for jobs. And if they don't give the tax breaks, then that data center will go somewhere else. True. They'll go to Tennessee. Well, what if Tennessee then says, well, we're not going to give tax breaks either? Why don't we just stop giving tax breaks? Why are so many red states so willing to give out like money-losing handouts to these data centers? They lose money. They're not recuperating it in tax revenue. The jobs that are provided are construction jobs. In Georgia, the study that he just showed that those jobs would have been used, that they would have had those construction jobs anyways. I didn't look at exactly how they measured that, so I'm not going to speak to the validity of that claim, but that's what they're claiming here. But those are temporary jobs. You think you're going to get billions of dollars in tax revenue from a couple hundred construction workers? No, of course not. Make them pay for it themselves, or let's take a stake. Let's have if your state wants to bring in a data center, why don't they get a stake? Why are so many red states comfortable just handing out money and getting nothing in return? Literally losing money in return. The same happens with like NFL stadiums. I live in Arizona. The Arizona Cardinals used to play at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Then they wanted a bigger stadium. The city of Tempe is like, no, we're not going to build you a stadium because we won't recoup this money. It's going to cost us too much. So Glendale's like, we'll do it. And they went out to Glendale, and guess what? They lost money. They didn't wind up recouping it. It's taken decades, and they've had to build out all this infrastructure around the stadium now. And I don't know where they're at now, but they think that they're going to be able to eventually recover. But this happens all the time with NFL stadiums. It's just popular to have a data center right now. And these politicians hear jobs and they hear tax revenue and they see the short term and they're like, yay, I get to go campaign that we created 1,200 construction jobs. And there's no like foresight. There's no looking into the future. Like, what is this going to mean 10 years from now? Are we going to be able to recover this money? No.
Is a data center coming to your town? Has your bill gone up? Let me know in the comments.
All right. What is this? Jen sent this to me. Milo Yiannopoulos is in ICE custody. All right, political commentator Milo Yiannopoulos is currently in ICE custody, according to the agency's online detainee database. Reports indicate Yiannopoulos, who is British, was in New Orleans ahead of a Kanye West concert. Of course, he was going to a Kanye West concert. Friday night, CBS has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and ICE for additional details and the basis of his apprehension. Well, I guess we'll find out. Couldn't have happened to a worse guy. Couldn't have happened to a worse guy. It's good to see a right-wing commentator get sucked up in that. Marilee said, thanks, Jay and Jen and mods. Sorry if it's not much. Never do that. Don't ever need to apologize. I appreciate the support. Here, I think I got those. And I get all these. Got it. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunding, about an hour left in the show. And Jen said I should mention the Dollar Train, and then she'll just she'll guilt you in the comments as well. But if you want to help us knock out that gift goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, let's go here. I loved this. This is Mark Elias. Big fan of Mark Elias. And we were talking about the midterms coming up a few minutes ago. And my criticism of the GOP, which I'm trying to get an answer to this from anybody, but my criticism is they're running on shit nobody cares about. They're running on trans people and socialism bad, and Donald Trump is king. I don't think that any of those things are anywhere near the top of anybody's list. And here's what Mark Elias had to say about that.
You're exactly right. I mean, look, if you were to list the top 1,000 problems facing the United States, you might put costs at the top. You might put the war in Iran. You might say we have a big problem in that Donald Trump is seemingly intent on a war with Canada, right? There's any number of things that you could say were big problems in America.
So what do you do? Secure border. No, it's nowhere near the top. It's nowhere near the top. You can just look at polling. That might be near the top for you. But what do you do if you're Republicans and you don't have anything popular to run on? Start figuring out a way to like suppress the vote, right? You might redistrict a bunch of stuff. You might start talking about sending the National Guard to polling places. You might start talking about purging voter rolls. You might start lying to your constituents about voter fraud when it doesn't exist.
If you were just to focus on the problems of voting, you might say that we have a problem in that we have set up too many barriers for people to turn out. We've disincentivized and made it hard for college students to vote. We throw out way too many mail-in ballots. There are any number of problems to solve with voting. Voter fraud is not on that list of 1,000 things. It's not even on the next list of the next 10,000 things. This is a made-up problem by Donald Trump to create a permission structure to make it harder for you to vote and easier for him to cheat, because his approval ratings are in the mid-30s, and if we have free and fair elections, the Republicans are going to get their butts kicked.
Yeah. And you know that too. K-Bot said, save the taxpayers and cut out, what did you say, the politicians? Save the taxpayers by cutting the wages of politicians and city officials. There's no reason for a politician to make $175,000 and have free health care. Sure there is. Why don't we just all get free health care, though? You think like $175,000 for a member of Congress? That's not an insane amount of money. You have to live in D.C. That's expensive. You have to maintain 2 residents, generally, one in your state and one in the other state. Why don't we just give everybody health care then? Why does it always have to be like, we should all suffer? Why don't we just do health care for everybody? And we'll do it more affordably than what we have now. Why don't we just fix the problem? You say that's like most of like political discussion outside of talking heads. And I think that's kind of one of the problems with America is we're just consistently looking at those. And that's the criticism I've been getting all day today. Like, you're just worried about rich people. No, I just think that like we have all this money circulating. And a lot of this money stops circulating when people get a certain level of wealth. Why don't we just use the money that we have and the resources we have to make everybody's life a little bit easier? If you have $1 billion, your life doesn't get any easier with $2 billion. they're making 3 times more money than I am. Yeah, okay. But I get that. But like, why is the solution? I'm not trying to be that critical, but why not just say, like, why don't we all get health care? Politicians should only be getting paid minimum wage. They literally can't live on minimum wage, K-Bot. We wouldn't have any. We wouldn't have a government. Our country would collapse. You can't live in D.C. You can't have 2 residences live in D.C. on minimum wage. I promise, the problem is not the salaries of politicians. That is number 856,000 on the fucking list. They don't need to travel back and forth to all these fucking locations. They can do this stuff by Skype. Or, once again, we can just have a better tax structure. We can have a progressive tax system. We can provide healthcare for everybody and lift everybody else. But what's the point? Like, punishing the politicians. Like, if we did that, if we cut the salary of politicians, we wouldn't have a government. It would just all collapse. And then some people would be like, oh, that's a good idea. It's not a good idea. I'm really not trying to be an asshole about that. That's just a bad idea. We can fix this problem without doing that. I think politicians, I think that if you're a senator or a member of Congress, you're somebody who is supposed to be respected. You're somebody who should have credentials. I don't think we need to pay people that are representing us nothing. I think it should be a job that pays fairly well. I don't think you have to be rich to be a politician, but I think it should be a good paying job. That's a lot. If you offered me a job where I had to travel back and forth from my state to Washington, D.C., I had to be away from my family. I had to be sitting in committee meetings, arguing all the time, like reading legislation, and you said you can get $30,000 a year, I'd tell you to get fucked, and so would everybody else. I don't have a problem with the amount of money that politicians make from their salary. I don't like how much they make from other things, but I just don't think that's the problem at all. I think the problem is that and I think that, in fact, I think that's part of the problem, is that we're constantly looking at them rather than the entirety of the country and saying, like, how can we make things overall better for everybody? I don't think very many people look at it that way, including those politicians. But sorry, I'm not trying to like hammer you. I just don't think that's like a great idea. All right, today Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh is in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is changed a great deal since I last went to Washington to Jackson Hole. Used to be a place it was like a family place. It was affordable. We would go on vacation there, and once every couple of years. I remember we used to go see this cowboy poetry and like band called the Bar J Wranglers. We'd go up there, but it has completely and totally changed now. Jackson Hole is now the richest county in America. It's in the southwest corner of Yellowstone. And it is now the richest county in America per capita, right? Like, not total amount of money. So More Perfect Union, who always does great work and has great mullets, went to Wyoming to see the wealth disparity that this causes. And again, like, if I'm Kevin Warsh, I'm the Federal Reserve Chair, I'm not going to all these ritzy places when I want to go speak to people. That's one thing we could probably do. We could probably have everybody stop looking like assholes every time they go somewhere nice.
Do you have any advice for me to find really rich people in Jackson? Look for really, really nice houses.
This is Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the last of the Old West, and also the wealthiest county per capita in America.
Everybody wants that shot, that view of the Tetons, and it's open to the highest bidder.
Here, the billionaires can be hard to pick out.
It's been maybe 20 years since I was there, and you go through like Star Valley. There was a little bit of wealth in Star Valley, but you get up there in Jackson Hole, and it was ranchers. It was just like regular working class people like 20 years ago. And now I have a good friend of mine who his wife's like a pretty prominent like style influencer. And you would never watch this show because he's a Republican. He's one of my best friends that I grew up with. We're not so close now, but like now he and his family, and his in-laws, they all have properties up there, and they go up to Jackson Hole and they wear their cowboy hats and they go to the rodeo and they get all like they put on their costumes. It's like all just ritzy, kind of like I don't know how to explain. I grew up in Pleasant Grove, like that. Our rodeo there was kind of the same, but it's just a different vibe. I used to go up there and go fishing me and my dad would go up and fish on the Yellowstone River, and we would camp at the same campsite every time with just tents. That's gone now. It's all like massive mansions where we used to camp. People bought up property, and you have these big sprawling ranches, and it's just, I don't know, different vibe. Not my place anymore. That's why Jeffree Star's racist self moved there. I didn't know that.
Proud.
All hat, no cattle. There you go. Post Malone Cowboys. There we go.
You think you've met any while you're here?
Probably. I don't know.
They kind of blend in?
Yeah, I would guess so.
But even if you can't always see them, the impact of their wealth is impossible to ignore. That's because Jackson Hole isn't just the richest place in the country. It's also the most unequal.
Teton County is just for rich people now.
How bad is that housing crisis right now?
It may be one of the worst in the country.
For your average person outside of Jackson, this sounds bonkers.
So I spent a week here.
Here we go.
Looking for billionaires.
Are you a billionaire? Are you a billionaire?
Trying to blend in. To understand how this small mountain town became the wealthiest in the country. What that's meant for the people who keep it running. And what, if anything, it means for the rest of the country.
All the people that have all the power.
Yeah, things change in 20 years. Yeah, they do. And what happened in those 20 years? We've just been consistently cutting taxes for rich people and creating this wealth inequality because we refuse to tax people appropriately. We refuse to force corporations to pay people fair wages, and they hoard the money, and then they wind up in places like Jackson, where it's beautiful, and they want to get away from these big cities now because they have all this money, and they want to have a place to stretch out their legs, and they go and they buy up all the land and all the houses in this area, and then there's like hardworking blue collar people there that can't afford to live there anymore because it drives up the cost. It's crazy. I grew up this way, and all the people around me that I grew up with, they all grow up this way. They just think it's inevitable. Like, capitalism is great. This is how it has to be. We can't change anything. It's just the way that things are going to be. That's what they all think. And this is what's going to happen. Like, eventually the people, there's going to be enough anger from the people that the people will revolt. Our country will tax people a much higher rate on the high end. And we will try and rebuild the middle class. We'll probably accomplish it. Those same people will cry about it the entire time. Then their lives will get better. And after like 30, 40, 50 years, suddenly there will be another movement of, we pay too much in taxes. We need to keep more of our money. And we'll go back and we'll just keep living this cycle because humans are inherently selfish and we don't learn much from the past. Like, if you know anything about American history, how did we recover after the Great Depression? We provided worker protections. We forced living wages. We gave people education that was either free or cheap, like college education, even trade education. We manufactured things here, and things stayed cheaper. Why? Because there wasn't wealth inequality at this level. You didn't have you didn't have the rich and then no middle class and then everybody else. And that's the trajectory that we're headed to now. I mean, it'll be 10 years from now. The top marginal tax rate, I really believe this, is going to be up around 60, 70%. And the same people here that are watching this will still be crying about it while we're fixing problems. As all of this gets fixed, and I do believe it'll get fixed, it'll be the same people crying about it while it's better. Their lives will become better, and they'll still be like, I ain't no commie.
Or they're coming here to just get even more.
Our story doesn't start in Jackson Hole. It starts here, on the other side of the mountains, in Idaho.
These are the people who make that town run. He's been involved in a lot of those hotels and a lot of that construction.
It's not too different than feudalism. We're getting there. It's the same principles of feudalism.
And, now he's living in Driggs.
Diana and Fernando moved from Mexico to Jackson Hole in 2002. Where they raised their son Brandon for 14 years. Fernando found work in construction, building mansions for the rich, while Diana was a housekeeper and a nanny.
We are very lucky to live in this place because it's beautiful and it's very clean, and there are...
Through the cycle's called the Gilded Age. Yeah, Mariana said, why do people pay more for power because of data centers? I don't know if you're saying, I don't know if you're asking me, why? Or just because they use more power? Or if you're asking why people are okay with it. And if you're asking why people are okay with it, I don't know the answer to that. Thank you, Lisa, for the Antifa dues.
Areas for growing family. But I think, especially right now, everything is very expensive.
In the last few years, they've been priced out of Jackson. First to Victor, Idaho, then to Driggs.
Next year, probably we move to Titonia. Next time, until they kick us out.
But their story isn't unique. Almost half of the people who work in Jackson are forced to commute from outside of Teton County.
So we're based out of Rigby, Idaho, but we drive back and forth every day for work.
How long's the drive?
About an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
One way?
Mm-hmm.
Prices in Jackson are so high that our film crew had to stay in a log cabin in Victor, forced to take the daily commute with the rest of the workforce over an 8,000-foot mountain pass. For workers who make this commute year-round, things can get pretty dicey.
A landslide wiped out a crucial state highway.
Officials calling it a catastrophic failure.
The first time I drove to Jackson, there was a terrible snowing. I was very scared.
It reminds you of the one that we showed for Montana. Yeah, same people, more perfect units. It's almost identical to the one we showed in Montana.
And I can see anything.
But on a clear day, when you reach the top, this is your view. Jackson Hole, with its towering Tetons and its sprawling mansions. Here, the top 1% make an average of $35 million, 221 times more than the 99%. So, how did that happen? Why did this valley, of all places, attract so much wealth?
There's always been wealthy people, but they very much wanted to be part of the culture that existed here.
Nikki Gill is a fifth-generation rancher in Jackson Hole.
When my dad grew up, Jackson was predominantly a ranching community. There were 80-something ranches. My great-grandfather, Robert Bruce Porter, started the Jackson Hole Hereford Ranch in 1928.
But while Nikki's family was building a working cattle ranch, the wealthiest family in the country was quietly pursuing their own plans for the valley. The Rockefellers had built the most powerful monopoly in the U.S., making them the world's first billionaires, and also earning them a reputation as ruthless robber barons. So they got to work repairing that reputation, and Jackson Hole became one of their most ambitious projects.
Yeah, Brian, I've heard about the AfD party in Germany. Elon loves them.
Started quietly buying up land in and around the valley, and eventually donated more than 35,000 acres to the federal government, resulting in the creation of Grand Teton National Park. But that didn't just preserve this area's pristine nature in amber. It also made Jackson Hole an extremely desirable destination for the super rich.
Jackson Hole is a really comfortable place to live. It does help if you have a lot of money.
By the late 60s, Jackson had a world-class ski resort, attracting everyone from ski bums to billionaires. Then, in the 80s and 90s, America got a whole lot richer at the top. And if you had a fortune to protect, Wyoming was hard to beat. No income tax, no wealth tax, no worries.
Was there a time when you remember it starting to change?
I want to say early 2000s is probably when we saw some of the biggest changes.
More hotels, more rich people moving in.
Count the number of private jets at the airport kind of tells the story too.
In just a few decades, the per capita income of Teton County went from a little higher than average to the highest in the nation.
That is a crazy change. And this is the thing, like, the income isn't because some industry blew up in Jackson Hole, right? It's not like somebody came in there and built a great business and the average worker there in Jackson Hole all of a sudden skyrocketed. It's like these are true capitalists. I'm guessing that they're certain that their business is not in Jackson Hole, but they live there. And so you have this per capita income skyrocket, and nobody in Jackson Hole gets any benefit from that. In fact, everybody who isn't ultra wealthy in Jackson Hole gets hurt by that because everything becomes more expensive.
Higher than Manhattan or Miami. But if this place has so much wealth, where are all the rich people?
Where can I find me a billionaire around these parts?
Heracles, Effie, we're going to do this real quick. Name me one person that we would know in the United States, prominent person, who advocates for communism. I'm going to stop the show. Tell me one name, and if they are not advocates of communism, we're going to ban you for 24 hours, and you got to come back. I'm tired. Like, it's getting old at this point. Just name one person who's advocating for communism. We're going to wait for a second while we got this guy pointing the microphone. It's a good time to remind you guys, we've got about 50 minutes left. And I actually need to leave a couple minutes early today because I got to get to an appointment. If you want to help us knock out the remaining balance of that gift goal, that would be super dope. Cam says, you're such a cornball. I know you have multiple coffee mugs that say, don't talk to me until I've had my bean juice on the side. Fuck. Jesus. One person, though. We'll wait for the name here. For sure, because what caught my attention is they said that they're so sick of people in the West thinking that communism is the answer. So, Heracles, I am so sick of all the low IQ idiots in the West that believe communism is the answer. What's the name of the person? I'm going to guess Heracles is just going to leave. That's my guess. But we can wait here for a second. Imagine watching this, like, seeing what wealth inequality looks like and just being like, I'm going to talk about communism instead. This is a real fucking problem. Wealth inequality is a problem. It doesn't matter what your economic ideologies are. Massive wealth inequality is always a problem. It's never not like there's never been a society with this level of wealth inequality where it wasn't a huge fucking problem, where you either have collapse or revolt. And we may get a little bit of both. All right, Heracles took off exactly as we expected. If Heracles comes back, or anybody who's, oh, there it is. I love how you all run from communist principles, all modern Democrats. See you later, bitch. Didn't name a name. We'll see you on Monday, Heracles.
Came out here trying to...
Jamie said, have a good weekend. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. Big W for Jamie for sending $50 over on Cash App. Appreciate you, and I will have a good weekend. It's been a long week, and I deserve it.
Find a super rich person like a billionaire. Do you see him in town?
I don't know that I'd know the difference between him or somebody else, you know?
Thanks, Juwan.
Unlike Miami or Manhattan, Jackson Hole isn't the kind of place where wealth puts on a show. Here, the super rich blend in, wearing Wranglers and cowboy hats.
I mean, they don't. I could pick them out. Like, I could pick them out all day, every day. Working class here. Let's go here.
Here, the super rich blend in.
You gotta know what you're looking
wearing
for.
Wranglers.
Yeah, these are not they're not blending in. These hats,
cowboy.
Like any of you guys who live in like a ranching area where there's
isn't
actual
the kind
cowboys.
Of place where wealth puts on a show.
You tell me if these people exist. Sorry,
here,
keep going back.
The super rich blend in, wearing Wranglers.
Who lives near ranchers? Nobody. None of the ranchers dress like this. It's pretty easy.
And cowboy hats.
Are you a billionaire?
No.
Are you a billionaire?
Right? No, I'm not a billionaire for sure. No.
You're not?
No, I'm not. No.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm for sure.
Are you a billionaire?
Not a billionaire.
Damn.
There's another reason the wealthiest residents may be hard to find. They don't actually live here.
Kirsten, that's you? Yeah, it's true. Kirsten would dress like that. You're tricky though. Like you're low key rich. Just don't tell anybody.
At least not for most of the year.
They just buy the house, but they just stay for vacations, for winter or summer.
Just long enough to reap the tax benefits.
Are you a billionaire?
Thanks, Andreas.
But even if you can't always see them, the impact of their wealth is hard to miss.
We got a house for like $800,000, and now the house is over $3 million.
Jessica Chambers moved to Jackson in 2010, just as property values were starting to take off.
Every year it gets worse by a larger magnitude than the year before.
In these years, Jackson increased the rents very...
As prices rose, investors saw a chance to cash in, buying rental properties, remodeling them, and selling them to customers with deeper pockets. But that meant evicting longtime tenants like Diana and Fernando.
They sold to that rich person. I expect they increase the rent, but I never expect they kick out everybody.
By 2020, the housing crisis hit an inflection point.
What we might have seen in 15 years happened in 2. When everybody was homebound and realized they could work virtually or just wanted to get out of the city, they had cash. They came in and just paid cash for homes.
This neighborhood cost a pretty penny. Each one of these houses, maybe $10, $20 million.
1 bedroom, I think it's running 3 to 5.
Shit, I'm gonna let's play for a second. My dog with diarrhea got out, and I'm worried he's gonna shit on the floor. I'll be right back.
1,000.
For your average person outside of Jackson, this sounds bonkers.
It's why in Jackson, there's a saying, either you own a few homes or you work a few jobs.
I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday talking to my nurse, and she said she has 3 jobs. And I mean, that's pretty crazy. You know, nurses make a lot of money, and for her to say that kind of blew my mind.
Brandon is able to live in town, for now, by working 2 jobs. And because he lives in employee housing, a rare luxury in Jackson Hole.
They're supposed to build affordable houses for employees, but isn't it? They are very expensive.
And the problem keeps getting worse. The percentage of workers forced to commute from out of town has gone up year over year.
With the town growing, there's just nobody to work these jobs because there's nowhere for people to live.
So why is it so hard to build affordable housing in Jackson Hole? Well, for starters, thanks to the Rockefellers' generous gift,
I mean, this is a pretty simple, this is basic economics. If you are building houses, if people are coming in and there is a demand for houses, the lots go up, the availability of the builders goes down, and so they're going to take the more lucrative contracts. The cost of materials is obviously going up from tariffs. Like this is pretty easy, but like the more rich people you have move in, the more costs go up. That's why I'm always like baffled by Republicans that are bragging about like, oh, we're having rich people move to Florida from New York. Cool. Enjoy your higher prices. And exactly that happened. I was in Arizona, or I lived in Utah when we started building like the Silicon Slopes, which is we just had a bunch of tech companies move from Silicon Valley to the Wasatch Front. And they're like, yeah, Utah's better. Look at all these people fleeing California. And now what? Now nobody can afford to fucking live there. Talk to our Utah friends that have been there. I know there's a couple of you guys there, but like the cost of building or buying a house in Utah County is astronomical. Like my parents' house is built in the 80s. Well over $1.5 million, easily over $1.5 million, and it would need a lot of work.
87% of the land is public, meaning it can't be developed. On top of that, you have another 1.5% of the pie going to something called conservation easements.
Land conservation easements. Very, very wealthy people purchase homes that are on large lots, and they could develop like a $10 million home on this property. Well, they say like, we're not gonna do that. We'll just build a $2 million home. And then we get a tax write-off for all of the stuff that we could have built, but we didn't.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Isn't that so cool? You get a tax write-off for only building a $2 million home. This is why we say like it's so fucked for like it's so skewed towards rich people. How did they convince lawmakers that that's a good idea? What did they tell them? Yeah, they call it conservation. You get a tax write-off if you don't use your land. Okay. Who do you think put that provision in there? Why is there not a stipulation that's like, hey, if you don't use your land, but you're not using your land, just building a vacation home, why would you get a tax write-off? 15.6 million empty homes in the U.S. and less than 800,000 homeless. Yeah, there we go.
And then that land gets locked away from ever being developed.
Thank you, Glenna.
Which leaves less than 1.5% of land available for development. But even on that remaining slice of land, trying to build affordable housing is an uphill battle.
We've been in a housing crisis for decades, and you would think in a crisis we would move quickly to solve.
Reminds me of farmers, paying farmers to not grow food, yeah.
Solve the problem, and I don't think we've done a great job of that.
But at least with farmers paying them to not grow food, like at least those are working class people, right? I still don't like it, but I mean, it's silly. That type of easement tax break is silly.
2020, Nikki's family introduced Northern South Park, a plan to convert over 200 acres of their ranch land into a mixture of market rate homes and dense affordable housing. If it went through as planned, Northern South Park would be the largest housing project in Teton County history.
The unintended consequences of liberal ideas of government programs trying to shape the private free market. What? Wait, what? What? What are you talking about? Liberal ideas of government programs. It's a tax break. It's not a government program. I don't know how you're using the word liberal, like if you're just saying, but yeah, I don't know what you're saying. You want to explain that differently?
But
I want a tax write-off for not buying a house that I can buy. Yeah, me too.
If you go to Northern South Park right now, you won't find much.
We're 6 years into that project, and we're still years out from a home being constructed within that development.
We actually have some market housing finally happening, but on this other side where the more dense housing is going to take place, it's still greenfield.
Greg Epstein was on Teton County Commission when Northern South Park was first proposed.
It's got to be a tough name these days. I'd change that.
And he was on the inside as the process got slowed down again and again.
People in Teton County have been very apprehensive to develop too quickly, or at all for that matter.
It turns out this conversation isn't new. For 50 years, the community has repeatedly considered and rejected any attempt to build housing at Northern South Park. So what happened here?
Why, during a housing crisis, are we taking 6+ years to approve a development where 70% of the homes will be deed restricted for our local workforce?
It's really hard to say. I'm comfortable saying it. We have to look at limits to growth. And we need to say we're only going to grow so much and we will just be a smaller community.
Luther Probst is also a Teton County commissioner. He was one of the first and most vocal critics of the project.
I oppose Northern South Park.
You see what the public housing looks like. These people don't like public housing because it's such a... this isn't... Never mind. Okay. It's the poor people. Guys, it's the poor people's fault. Okay? They're not building any houses because poor people... First of all, I don't think you know what they're talking about here. These are market rate houses, but they're not building it because poor people are icky. Is that your argument? Why you guys all like? Why is everything poor people's fault? Are you watching this? Why is housing unaffordable? Because of these guys. Oh, it's actually the poor's.
I don't see how it's going to work. We cannot build our way out of this crisis, despite what some of the rah-rah developer types like to say.
This desire to limit growth in Jackson Hole isn't new. You can find it in community planning workshops from the 90s, where residents express concern about rapid growth threatening small-town values and the loss of scenic beauty and wildlife. And you can find it in this document from 1994, which has shaped housing in the valley ever since.
The comprehensive plan is a guiding document for future development in the valley.
The first part of the comp plan is preserve and protect the area's ecosystem. That is like right there, number one. That's like what everybody goes back to.
Prior to 1994, all of the open land in the county was zoned 1 house per 3 acres. And that changed in 1994 to 1 house per 35. And that's a big change. The lack of supply has driven property values very high.
Jackson Hole has a long history of conserving nature, but there's another...
it's interesting for conservatives. I think this is a weird like dichotomy, and it's a problem that with your ideology. You call yourself conservatives. For example, here in Jackson Hole, they're like, "Hey, we want to maintain like the wildlife here. We don't want to get overrun, so we want to protect that. Well, what ways could you protect that? Well, one way you could do is you could incentivize super wealthy people to come there and buy up big parcels of land and build their houses there, and then that land winds up staying open and the wildlife's good. Another thing you could do is you could just say no rich people. You could say like this is the biggest house that you can build. You can have 10 acres or whatever. You can build this house, and like this is the most you could build a house for. Wouldn't that conserve things too? If you're a conservative, I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but like if it's really about conservatism, how come conservatism is always bending over, looking back at a billionaire and saying, "Give it to me, daddy"? Why is that always what conservatism is? I don't want to change anything. Okay, well, that guy's got a lot of money. Okay, he can do what he wants. I'm not going to change anything, but the people with the money, they can do whatever they want. It's going to raise the cost for you. Oh, it's capitalism for you. Conservatives are so protectionist about like their values and the community and the culture. But when it comes to actually like preserving your town and preserving the authenticity that you like from that town, nope, we'll sell everything for $1. Whoever gives us the most money will win. Why aren't you guys conservative about like preserving a beautiful place like Jackson Hole? Everywhere. I grew up in Utah. Like I grew up in Utah County. It was kind of a quieter place. And what happened? We're just like, oh, we gotta lower taxes and start incentivizing people to come in from other states. And now Utah County is a fucking nightmare. No matter what time of day, traffic everywhere, new home builds everywhere. You have mountains on one side, on both sides. So you have inversion that just like, especially in the winter, like the dirty air just sits. It just chills, and you're just walking around breathing a exhaust milkshake all day, every day. Why'd they do that? And then they all complain like, oh, all these California liberals. No, it was you. Why'd you incentivize all these people to come? You red states. Why? How do you think San Francisco became what it is? How do you think San Francisco became a place that is so expensive to live? They lured people there with tax breaks. They lured companies there. And then eventually, like you run out of room, and then these companies get massive and people make money, and then now you have massive wealth inequality, and then they're like, I can't believe we have crime. How did that happen? It must be liberal policies. No, it's wealth inequality. It's not Democrats, not Republicans. It's just wealth inequality. If you don't want the place that you're at to have high crime and a bunch of unhoused people, don't incentivize people to move there. Don't give rich people a reason to come and avoid paying taxes by moving to where you're at. They do the same thing everywhere. No, they don't. They don't do the same thing everywhere. Some places don't do that. But it ironically, like in more rural areas who tend to be more conservative because they have more conservative like social values, they get locked into conservatism. So they're like, oh, we want our white Christian conservative places to stay together. And they're like, but we're also fiscally conservative, which doesn't mean anything. It just means that like rich people are in charge. And so then they incentivize the people to come in, and then they blame liberals. I've never seen a dumber ideology ever than American conservatism. It makes no fucking sense. Nothing about your ideology makes any sense. You all don't give a shit about conserving. You imported 20 million, 3 states worth of people that need housing. Yeah, no, we don't care. No, I do not care about, I'm talking about you. Right? I don't care. If 20 million immigrants came in, that's fine. I'm okay with that. They don't drive up the cost of housing. Give me a study that would say that immigration is what drove up the cost of housing. We're talking about Jackson Hole here. Is that what you think happened? You think a bunch of people fled Venezuela, couldn't get asylum here, so they snuck across the border and they went to Jackson Hole and built mansions and drove up the cost of housing? Yeah, it's probably the immigrants. It's never the rich white people. I know, David. I know I'm dumb, but like, what if you offered an argument instead of like just calling me dumb? Give me an example of a place that's unaffordable that didn't become unaffordable because they lured people there with tax breaks. Why do you trust the government to regulate things like this? Because that's the job of the government. That's another conservative thing. You fucking cucks. Why are you all such bitches? The government can't do anything, so we just have to let the rich people be in charge. I trust the government more than I trust billionaires. Far more than I trust billionaires. Why in the world would I trust the rich people? Of course, like I can do something about the government. I can at least vote. Well, I don't trust the government, so I'll just leave it in Elon's hands. That's what I say. Like, your entire ideology makes no sense. If you ever stopped and thought about your ideology beyond the surface, you would realize there is nothing about conservatives in America that makes any fucking sense. Just dig a little. Just go under the surface. Start analyzing what it is that you believe in. It's silly. You really think immigrants and poor people are the problem in this country? That's what's causing your problems? Immigrants and poor people? Give me one example. Who was that said, we don't care about conserving? Let's just pretend that 20 million people came into this country during the Biden administration. Can you point to any economic study that tells me, that would show that had an impact on you? Can you point to any data set that says, oh, this is what's causing our problems here? David? You tell me, David. I know we're dumb. Everybody's dumb, David. Everybody's dumb but you. That's why we're asking you. Thank you so very much for bringing your big brain here to explain things to us. If you could take a minute from insulting people and just explain it to us, that'd be great. We're all a bunch of dumb fucks here. We have no idea what we're doing. I'm so glad you showed up to teach us. David, can you explain to me how immigrants and poor people are the problem here? Just a study, a data set. David can't read. I'm going to guess David's not going to have an answer for this. We're all terrible human beings. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are you here every day then, Job? Gob. Every day you're here. Every day you're like, I'm sick of all of you. I'm leaving. And then you stay and then you come back. The left want to put our hands out to help people. Conservatives want to take a fist and punch down. Always. Conservatism is about punching down. David, do you have an answer for that? We stopped this for you. Amy said, Obama deported a record amount and Biden more than Trump. Housing costs went up. Trump is the only one taking pieces of private companies and now trying to take part of Venezuelan oil fields and have us pay to develop so corporations will use them to sell us oil. Yeah. I don't agree with data centers either, but I don't believe in free enterprise. My brother, what you don't believe in free enterprise? I don't agree with David. I don't believe in free enterprise. All right. What do you believe in? Are you not a conservative? What do you believe in? Amy said the left wants to put our hands. Oh, I got that one.
Another name for these kinds of policies.
What do we call it? NIMBYism? Okay. Not in my backyard.
But in this case, the backyard,
thank you, Glenna,
is the Grand Tetons.
You want to protect your view. You don't want apartment buildings.
And the NIMBYs are worth, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Some of those people have the luxury of time. A lot of the people who this project would benefit don't have the luxury of time.
Oh, you do believe in free enterprise. Wait, what does that mean though, David? I asked you a really specific question and I would love an answer while this is playing. I really would. Like, can you explain to me how it's immigrants and poor people that are causing problems here? Can you point to anything that says like that's the problem? Could you point to anything conservatives have done in the last 20 years that have helped fix this problem of wealth inequality and affordability? Is there anything that you guys stand for that actually works? And can you point to a place where it's working?
There's no end. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, I think, in this problem.
At what point does housing our community become the priority?
But to understand what this community chooses to prioritize, it helps to follow the money. That's because Jackson Hole isn't just known for its wealth, it's also known for its generosity.
We have this nonprofit world here. Over 200 nonprofits for this community.
But not all nonprofits are funded equally.
Of those nonprofits, there's like 4 that get funding from the lion's share.
Here, there's no shortage of donations for conservation and the arts.
Okay, Dave said, I don't have a problem with immigrants, but they're essential, but they need to follow the same rules. I didn't ask that. Respectfully, David, I've asked very specific questions. Number one, what's the problem with the image? Like, what is the, I understand you want them to follow the rules. I get it. But what is the problem that they created? And number two, what's one thing conservative? This is an easy one. I'll give you 30 years. What's one thing conservatives have done in the last 30 years that have made things more affordable or have addressed wealth inequality? Just one thing. I give you 30 years. That's a lot. You should have an answer for that, right? Cookie said, this is gentrification. People of color have been screaming about this for over a decade. The leopards are feasting and even poor whites will be chased out of their homes. Yeah, this is that's so perfect, actually. I mean, this is conservative Jackson Hole, conservative whites like, oh, it'll never happen to me. Whoops. Now you know what it's like.
If you were to put it on a map, you would have these circles of this is the land trust, and then Wildlife Museum, Center for the Arts. And then over here is the One Health and Human Service Organization. And then everything else is like dots.
We have the rich.
No tax on tips. Cool. Has that fixed wealth inequality at all? I don't think so. Wealth inequality continues to rise. Let's try again.
Just county in the country, and we have 70 some homeless families. Like, that's shame on us.
Sarah Cavallaro runs Teton Youth and Family Services. In the last few years, she's seen another side of Jackson's housing crisis.
It's mom and dad are getting divorced. We don't have a house. We can't pay for food. We've got 7 jobs going on, so nobody's watching the kids.
But with recent funding cuts from the state, she struggled to make up the difference with philanthropy.
The priorities are completely fucking skewed. Like, they don't make any sense.
And even though affordable housing does occasionally get funded by wealthy donors,
but to pretend that 24 million illegal immigrants has no negative consequences is factually ridiculous. Okay, tell me what the negative 14 million. Okay, what was it? What was the negative consequence? Off the top of my head, what I can say is that it backed up our courts. It backed up our immigration courts. Outside of that, I know of no significant economic impact that 14 million alleged undocumented immigrants caused for this country. Just give me a data point. See how this is what happens every time I ask, and this is why I'm telling you, like, just go a hair deeper. I'm begging you to go one step further. This is why I'm not a conservative anymore, because I think the difference perhaps for me and you is that was not an acceptable answer for me as a conservative. It was not an acceptable answer when I didn't know something to be like, you can't tell me there were no problems. I needed to know what the problems were. So then I looked at them and I was like, oh my God. You know what? The first time I moved away from a conservative principle, I was in college and I was doing a research paper on specifically undocumented immigrants and how we fix this problem. And I was looking at it in terms of like how we might be able to benefit by deporting undocumented immigrants. And you know what I concluded at the end of that? We should probably just give all of these people amnesty and have them pay taxes. And I did the cost analysis of how much revenue we would bring in to our communities if we just allowed these people to work, gave them amnesty, and taxed them. Because I could not find a good answer, and you can't either. That's what conservatism is. Ask the question. When the question is asked to you, say, that's crazy to think there's no problems. Okay, what's the problem? Show me like a set of data that would lead me to believe that there was some sort of problem with these 14 million alleged undocumented immigrants. I've asked your best debaters this. I had this debate with Andrew Wilson, who's one of your best, and you know what he said? He said, I'll grant you the entire economic argument. I just want to talk about how immigrants make me feel icky. I've never got an answer to this, ever. And that's why I'm no longer a conservative, and you don't need to be a conservative either. I don't know why you stopped there. Why is that an acceptable answer to you? I know there's problems. To say there's no problems is crazy. Okay, what are they? You're saying there's no. I'm not saying there's no problems. I'm saying I'm unaware of a data set that would lead me to believe that this was some massive problem that I should care about.
A very generous donor donated somewhere around $20 million to lower the price of housing in a project downtown.
It hasn't happened at a scale that comes anywhere close.
Caleb said your stream's one of the best on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wish more people knew that. B87 said, hey, Dave, communist here. If the GOP cares so much for us, why does the no tax on tips expire, but the tax breaks for the wealthy are permanent? It's a tough question to answer. You may want to consider answering with a question.
To meeting the need.
There is a small donor pool for people that contribute to housing. That's just the way it is.
It's another reason why...
So the undocumented illegals magically end up in the U.S. No, I didn't say it. Look at Spain. Okay, tell me what's going on in Spain. What's the data set I need to look at in Spain that would make me feel like it's a problem? Why can't I look at the data set here? If it's such a problem in Spain, why can't you point to how it's a problem here? How come none of you, not one of you, can point to an issue? The closest I've had is over the past decade, the sanctuary cities have spent billions on undocumented immigrants. First of all, who cares? Cities can spend money on whatever they want. If you don't live in that city, why do you care? What's the economic impact? Have you weighed that? Did you take the money that they spent and then compare that to the amount of taxes that they've collected in the forms of sales tax or property tax that's collected by landlords from the places that they rent? Have you compared any of that stuff? Did you add both sides, or did you just look at the spending? I bet you just looked at the spending, right? Otherwise, you'd have a number for me. Like, what's the net? What's the net impact? Add what they contribute to the economic coffers and what they take away from the economic coffers. What's the net impact there? Do you know?
The Northern South Park project is anything but guaranteed.
That project will require two of our nonprofit housing providers to raise somewhere between $250 million and $400 million. I will believe that when I see it.
It raises an obvious question. Why can't the wealthiest community in the country find the money to provide housing for everyone?
Oh, sorry. No, we got it now. Well, genius, federal money, GERD to states, and bingo to cities. Good point.
All these people are like, doing these
I'll never understand why conservatives fight so much over scraps. They would rather starve than fight back.
things in the name of conservation that ultimately benefit them.
The arts are definitely always getting funded. Go downtown and there's 10 galleries. You can't house a person in an art gallery.
They're not impacted by the lack of affordable housing. Maybe they lose their favorite server at the Thai restaurant they love going to. You know, it's like the hell with everybody else. I got mine. I'm not worried.
After spending a week in the richest county in America, I couldn't find a single billionaire who would talk to me.
So are you talking to any of the wealthy people?
They don't want to talk to us.
No one wants to talk to us.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's a deep level of shame. Why do you think they don't want to talk? If they're not embarrassed, if it's not unfair, if they're not causing harm, it seems like they would defend that position, right?
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
we're asking hard
You're not
questions,
surprised,
you know?
are you?
Yeah, no.
But what I did find was a breathtaking landscape in a community that's been completely transformed by wealth. From the moment the first...
Guys, David wants you to know that he's leaving. He hasn't provided a single example, so now we're all brainwashed morons because David can't come up with a single example. Have a good one, David. We'll see you next week. Amy Lynn said those blue cities and states pay in billions more than they take, and red counties and states take more than they pay in. Maybe we're tired of paying for your horrible policy choices. Also, higher poverty and government assistance usage. And a big W for Amy for the $50 on top of everything else you've sent today. Thank you so much, Amy.
First billionaires ever showed up.
The father of fossil fuels came here to buy land to protect nature. That's been a dynamic that's played out ever since then.
The mindset that people had when they moved here and the drive to preserve it and not allow anything else to happen is what...
Ben, I need numbers. You're just pressure on, what did you say? Pressure on local economies, specifically education and healthcare costs. Again, you've got to give me numbers. How much are they contributing to the taxes and how much are they taking out for the taxes for education and healthcare costs? I need numbers. I need to know what the net is. These are just platitudes. That is most of being a conservative, just saying stuff that you think is probably true. Housing affordability, simple supply and demand. Okay, sure. There's one. There's one. But if you look at any economic impact study and you look at the places that have, like, pick a place where housing is rising the most, I bet you can't tie that to undocumented immigrants. Somebody mentioned earlier, there's like 15 million houses here where nobody lives. Undocumented immigrants are generally not competing with American citizens for housing. They're pooling money. They're in low income areas. A lot of times, there are people who own houses that can only rent to people who are undocumented because nobody else wants to live there.
Made the biggest change.
Number one was sourced from the CBO. Well, then give me the number.
Those same people flying in here on private jets, but then they come here and they protect the environment as a way to, like, give back.
It's easy to come here and enjoy and fall in love with it, but it's so hard on the locals, on the people who have been here, who make the wheels turn. Yeah, it's hard.
When the owners kick us out, one lady say, "Hey, I have an idea. Why we don't go inside to the rich people empty houses and we live in there? They don't use it." And say, "And we go to the jail, lady."
But the situation in Jackson Hole isn't inevitable. It's not the result of some fundamental law of nature. It's a result of policy choices about how to carve up land.
I love that he just said that, because that's my takeaway from living around conservatives my entire life. They feel that this is inevitable. They feel that there's nothing you can do to stop this, and that it's the right way. And that's just life. Life's tough. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Don't advocate for change. Don't try and fix anything. Don't try and make things more equitable. It is what it is. And it's such a cucky attitude of just let the rich win. It's what and they'll say it. They're like, yeah, whoever has the most money wins. Well, why don't we change that? Why don't we just stop accepting that as it is what it is? You know what would end that immediately? If every conservative became a progressive. And then that wouldn't be the case anymore. If every conservative voted for only progressives who wanted to get money out of politics, that wouldn't be reality anymore. That would end. But they're like, no, I can't. I'm just going to stick to these principles because fucking gay people, trans people, fucking Mexicans, That's it. They just quit. So it's just inevitable. Politicians come out, they're like, we're going to cut taxes. And the people are like, yeah, I'll save a little bit on my taxes. What's that going to do in the long term? I don't know. The rich people are just going to win. So I'll take what I can get for now. Who said that earlier? My lady Hernandez. I'll never understand why conservatives fight so much over scraps. That's what you do. The Republican Party rolled out the biggest tax cut in the history of this country for the billionaires, overwhelmingly for the billionaires. Somebody mentioned this earlier too. The tax credits for you expire. The tax credits for them never expired. And you're like, yeah, they did something for me. They cut my taxes. The fuck they did. They bought your vote. That's what they did. They bought your vote and cut the taxes for the rich people.
Much housing to build, and who should have to pay for it?
The devil's in the details here, like the policy details. The policies that are put in place support a particular kind of person. I mean, that's what we're seeing everywhere. And it's hard to undo that without people power.
If you were king or queen for the day and you could snap your fingers and fix this, what would you do?
I will doing more houses for the people. If the rich people can help to give more money to building more houses, real affordable houses, because they are kicking out all workers from Jackson. And I don't want to move from here because it's a wonderful place.
Child tax credit is specifically designed as not for the rich. Yeah, that's the little carrot they dangle. Hey, look over here. Look at this shiny little tax credit. Look how good this is for you. You're like, okay. And then you support the biggest tax cut in history for the rich, which exacerbates our problem. You're making my point. You're focused on the child. They did do something for me. Yeah. And while they did that for you, while you were playing with that child tax credit, bent over on the floor giving it kisses, they fucked you right in the ass, and they're continuing to do it. You're like, well, that's okay. I don't mind this. I have this cute little fuzzy child tax credit. Look how cute it is. Look at this. I get to play with it. I can pet it. That's exactly the point. They give you scraps. You celebrate it like they did something great for you, and they're destroying the country. And you're like, well, at least I got a tax credit. That's exactly the point I was trying to make. Thank you for that.
It's a very, very beautiful community.
That's what our country is now, period. And like, this is just the most extreme version of it playing out. I guess that's what makes Teton County so special. It's a lot of the same, but like, it's very extreme.
All right. As always, great stuff by More Perfect Union. You can follow them over on YouTube or on Twitter. They do great work, great investigative journalism. Somebody said they're doing the Lord's work. It feels like it. It's one of the only places you can go to find like real investigative journalism on the impacts of wealth inequality, and they do it over and over and over again. Off topic, I know, but I don't like rodeos. I asked for an example of what? I asked you for an example of things that the Republicans do to address wealth inequality. That doesn't address wealth inequality. It was a trick while they exacerbated wealth inequality. So I'm just saying, like, and I mean it, like, I know conservatives are smart. Just stop it. Just stop, like, I guess, or keep going. But you quit. You all quit way too early. Just ask yourself the question. Then when you get the answer, say why or how or when. How does this work? What have the conservatives done to address wealth inequality? And you say child tax credit. Okay, how did that address wealth inequality? Well, it gave a break to people with children. Okay. Did it change wealth inequality? No. You're answering something that somebody else asked? If somebody else asked, I apologize. I thought you were talking about me. I mean, if you keep asking yourself questions long enough, you'll stop being a conservative. That's why they don't want you to ask questions. That's why they're running on, hey, just vote for Donald Trump. He'll fix it all. Because the more you ask questions, the less likely you are to think being a Republican is a smart idea. Have a bizarre love affair with capitalism. It's not even that. It's like just like corruption. At this point, like they're marching towards feudalism. We need that. We're too stupid anyways. We should probably just have like 8 people own everything. We're not smart enough to figure this out. And in all honesty, that might be true. Conservatives a long time ago just decided it was inevitable that at some point the rich would own everything. And you're just like, all right, this is what we're doing now. But we'll just be distracted by culture wars forever. But is either party a good idea? Look, it's a fair question. The Democrats are better than the Republicans. The progressive wing of the Democrat Party has really good ideas. And if you vote for progressives and you turn the Democratic Party far more progressive, then it gets even better. But yeah, they are better. Democrats do a better job at governing and legislating than Republicans. They spend less. They reduce deficit spending. They tend to focus more of their spending on the people who need it. They try and protect government programs that lift people out of poverty and keep people from dying. Yes, it's not particularly close. I have real gripes with the Democratic Party. I have real gripes with their corporatism. But are they better? Yeah. So what should you do? Vote for the most progressive person on your ballot. Sources? Okay, let's look at deficit spending by year. Pull that up. All right. Let's see. Let's pull it up in a chart. It's easier to see. Let's see if I can find a long chart. Sorry, trying to find a Axios might have this one. All right. Here's the federal deficit under presidents. Reagan. So anything below this line is deficit spending, right? So Reagan took over, went into debt. What did he do? 1982. Trickle-down economics is introduced. What do we immediately do? Go more into debt. He leaves it. What's that? 500? Is that billion? I think it's a billion. Then Clinton comes in, and you see that gap closing. And then we had a surplus, and then Bush fucked it all up. And then Obama comes in, and he comes in after the 2008 financial crisis. And so obviously there's a lot of spending that you had to do. And then look at this, recovery. And then Trump. I don't know if they have. This is an older chart. I don't know if they have one that's updated. But if you look here, once you include Trump, it'll be the deficit spending will go down. And even the last 2 years of the Biden administration, we were reducing deficit. Oh my God. Holy fuck. I forgot I switched that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, explaining this with no video. There we go. I'm so sorry. Let's do this all over again. Let's cut that out. Reagan, 1982. Deficit spending, because you want to be going up here, right? Because this is the zero line. So anything above the zero line is a surplus. Anything below the line is a deficit. So you have Reagan takes over, go into deficit spending. Clinton takes us out to a surplus. Bush fucks us. Then you have Obama climbing out, and then Trump takes us back into deficit. And if you continue this going, Trump takes us down. Then you have Biden, who there's some deficit spending during COVID, and then it starts working its way back up. You want to make an argument there? Which one of these two parties is more fiscally conservative? I mean, I felt like that's a good amount of data. 25 years of data there. Pretty good data to say that I don't think conservatives are more fiscally responsible. Right? I'm telling you. If you are a conservative and you keep asking questions, you won't be a conservative that much longer. They have no answers. None. Screenshot it. Yeah, do it. All right, guys. That's it for me. Let me make sure I got all the messages. Jamar says, we just want the rich to pay their fair share. That'd be nice. Or even close to their fair share would be cool. Cue somebody in the chat going, they pay most of the taxes. Yeah, because they have most of the money. But percentage-wise, they don't pay their fair share. They pay a lower percentage. So please don't be the person who says, they pay most. That's literally a talking point brought to you by rich people. Look, guys, look how much I paid $1 billion. Yeah, you had 20 billion, though. Right? So it's not very much. It is a percentage. You got a school teacher out here paying like 25, 30% of their money. Got a billionaire paying 3% of their money. One of those people works a lot harder than the other. One of those people just benefits off of everybody else's labor. Jen, did I miss any?
No, I think that's all of them.
All right. Okay. Make sure I got them. Got them. Okay. We'll be back Monday. It's Friday. Everybody go enjoy your weekend. We'll be back Monday morning and every weekday morning, 9:30-ish to 1 Pacific Standard Time right here wherever you're watching today. Until I see you guys Monday, I hope you take care of yourselves. Go outside this weekend and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, perhaps smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, best of luck to you. I don't know what you're going to do. Make sure you go out and do something good. Get some boots on the ground. And in order to do that, you're going to want to pull yourself up by the boot straps and get ready to put them on the ground. But before you do, go look in a mirror, say something nice about yourself, grab some water, drink a lot of it, and then take some water with you because it's hot out there and it's important to stay hydrated. While you're out and about, be nice to those that you come across, be nice to your loved ones, but most importantly, be nice to yourself. And until I see you again, bright and early Monday morning at 9:30-ish Pacific Standard Time, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.